Ian, do you think you can learn anything?
Yeah, I learn things every
Okay,
single
let me
day.
teach you. Thelema, what it believes is do as
Hmm.
thou wilt.
Hmm.
It is an anti-Christian belief in
Hmm.
its starting point.
But what
What
about
it's saying is
Tugama?
that it means that you are God.
Have you heard of like Tugama?
I'm not familiar with Tugama. What is Tugama?
Tugama balls, bitch.
Okay, so
Hey, how's it going?
hey, how's it going?
Doing well. How old are you?
I am 38.
Yep. And what religion?
I'm Christian.
Sure. What's your strongest argument or evidence for God's existence?
Strongest evidence would be the death and resurrection of Jesus, the historical evidence.
Sure.
So,
What in your mind would be the historical evidence for the death and resurrection?
well, I use the same criteria I would for any historical figure. And when I find 5,000 manuscripts detailing the life and the death and resurrection of a person, external documents that also corroborate this person existing, I would use the exact same criteria to evaluate any historical figure. So why would I suddenly believe that this very, very good evidence of history, so using textual analysis, same as I would use for Alexander the Great, right? And I'm able to determine that this is probably a historical fact versus something made up.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. So you note 5,000 manuscripts, of course, most of them being like copies of each other with like maybe like slight variations over, an extended time period, which of course is just what you would see with any religion. You would expect them to copy the text down, but these aren't multiple different books making the
Why would you
claim.
expect to
This
see
is
that?
like the same couple of books making the claim. And I do think that your wording was particularly interesting. You said that there were external documents attesting to Jesus' existence, not attesting to the resurrection, attesting to his existence. Are there any external documents attesting to the resurrection?
No, because the person writing was a Jew, so he probably didn't. And if he didn't know Jesus personally, this particular historian was very, very, very popular at the time and would have had a lot of social pressures, a lot of cultural indications that would be very difficult for him to even make that kind of claim. But the fact that he attests to this man existing and the amount of evidence that we have of copies, you're absolutely right, but that's not abnormal. That's any historical figure. Again, we want to attribute the exact same systems that we would use for evaluating any other historical figure. So we have to be honest here. We have copies of most historical figures, copies of copies of copies. So we don't have primary sources for most historical figures. So if you're going to say that, then you can't believe anybody existed in history or the stories about them. You can't believe Genghis Khan existed, for example. We don't know where he died, for example. We don't even know how he died. So if you're going to say, hey, this person came and conquered, all of Mongolia, in all of the known world at the time, how do we know? Well, we have to use the same methods that we use to evaluate if the claims of Jesus Christ are true. So I think the evidence is pretty clear. It's very easy to say in our hearts and in our minds, oh, that can't be true because this seems to be a mythological claim. Yet, when it comes to any other claim, we don't do that. We don't do that in history. We say, well, and that's based on less evidence. There's nobody in history that has the level of historical evidence supporting the life of Jesus Christ and his death and his resurrection. And there's no explanation that best fits. The best part about this is the best explanation for what happened in first century Jerusalem, where you had thousands of Jewish practitioners suddenly believing that a man rose from the dead. There's no explanation that best fits other than let's look at what the simplest explanation is.
Yeah, wait, so that's a really interesting point. Let's say that I told you that I could, levitate and breathe fire. In fact, let's say that I lived like 2,000 years ago and there's like 5,000 manuscripts that I can levitate and breathe fire. Do you think that would be sufficient evidence that I can levitate and breathe fire?
If history changed, if you could show me today that history was based off of the lifetime. You're like, we measured history based on your life.
Well, no, there's just 5,000
So
documents
AD and
claiming that I
BC.
could levitate and breathe fire. Would that be compelling?
If there was actual evidence that followed. My point is that we
But
live in
no,
a
that is the
reality.
evidence, though. Like, let's say that there's like some
We
external
have a
source
reality in which
claiming
this
that
reflects that
I
that's
can,
true.
or that I existed, and then there's 5,000 copies of documents claiming that I can levitate and breathe fire. Do you think that would be sufficient evidence to come to the conclusion that I could levitate and breathe fire?
Again, assuming we had the other evidences attached to those claims, absolutely.
What would be the other
you could show
evidence in
me-
this case?
If we measured history based on your life, if we had AD and BC based off of Ian, yeah, bro, I would probably believe that those documents are real. The reality is that you can't just claim in that these documents aren't history when there's nothing else that followed. There's no greater change in Western history than Christianity.
This seems like a completely different
happened.
argument.
Well, no,
That's not
something
really
happened.
historical
My point is that
evidence.
those
You're just saying at that
documents,
point
something
that, Christianity was
happened
very
in first
influential.
century
I agree,
Jerusalem.
Christianity was very influential. That doesn't mean that it's
So
true.
what happened? The question is, we have to ask ourselves, what's the best explanation for what happened in first century Judea?
Yeah.
Using the same textual analysis we would use for any other historical
Yeah, and well, I'm asking
document.
you, well, clearly it's not the same textual analysis because
Yes,
I'm
it
just
is.
asking you, do you think it
It's
would
the
be
same.
sufficient? Let's say there's no external evidence or I don't have any influence past that. Would that be sufficient for you to believe that I levitate and breathe fire?
No, okay, this actually exists in other, for example, Caesar is claimed to have been the son of God, right? There's also documentation of him being someone that couldn't die, right? This is very common in the ancient world. You're not making a claim, Ian, that other people haven't made. Why don't we believe that Julius Caesar is the son of God? And why do thousands and millions of people, billions actually in the world, believe that Jesus is? Because there's evidence that followed that was also experiential. There's other evidences. I'm saying.
Well,
that
let's
when you
examine
take
that
the historical
evidence.
document-
What is the evidence?
Okay, so for example, I gave you one. Do we
The
measure
documents? Like, why would I think the
Western
documents are
history? Do we
true?
measure Western history off of Julius Caesar's life, or do we measure
Sorry,
based
why
off
would
of
I
Christ's
think
life?
that so these 5,000 manuscripts, isn't this actually more like, are you just referring to like the Gospels?
Yeah, I'm referring specifically
Okay, so
to
this
the,
is 4 texts. Why would I think any of these 4 texts are true?
well, for the exact same reason you believe any other historical document is true.
If a historical
If you're going
document
to-
claims a miracle, I actually don't believe that it's true.
Not okay. You don't have to. But what
Well,
I'm saying
I'm not.
is you have to.
Hold
You
on.
do have to be honest. And
Why
use the same
would I
textual
believe
analysis.
it? Why would I
The same
believe that
reason
it's
you would
true?
believe any other document.
But
For
I wouldn't
example,
believe a document that claims a miracle.
I get that, but that's your own personal problem.
Okay,
That's not-
so
that
then
has
the
nothing to do
argument,
with
then
whether
the
or not it
evidence that
happened.
you're providing is insufficient.
No, that's a heart problem for you, Ian. You
It's not
need
a
to
heart
actually-
problem, I
Oh, it
just don't think
definitely is. If you're
magic
just
is
saying,
real.
hey, I wouldn't
Maybe
believe it, no
maybe
matter
the
what
problem
evidence
is that my heart is just closed off to magic without overwhelmingly good evidence.
That's absolutely fine for you. But I'm saying there's
Okay.
incredible evidence, and you're
What's
just
the
denying it.
incredible evidence?
I explained it already.
No, you didn't.
Something happened in first century Judea that caused thousands and thousands and thousands of Jews, practicing Jews, to literally start worshiping a man. Okay. The reality is that if we're asking ourselves what happened, this is an actual historical event. Every scholar on the planet understands that this man existed. The only ones who don't are fringe idiots called mythicists who no one even listens to, even Bart Ehrman, who is a biblical scholar who's an atheist, and he will tell you there is no doubt in anyone's mind that Jesus Christ existed.
Let's get clear on criteria. Would you agree that if we can naturally explain this, that we should prefer a natural explanation to a supernatural one?
No, we should go with the best explanation. With what was
Sure.
written
Okay.
down in
And
history.
then we can just like force the concession on this premise. Would you agree that there's lots of evidence for the laws of physics and that supernatural things would be violations of laws of physics?
No, absolutely not.
Which part of that would you reject?
For example, the writing of Aleister Crowley, you'll find that there are. Have you heard the story of Jack
So
Parsons?
wait, I gave you
who
2
started-
premises. Do you reject premise 1 or premise 2?
2. And
So
I'll give you
you
why.
you
I'll give you the
reject that
example why.
miracles, that supernatural things are violations of laws of physics? You don't think Jesus rising from the dead is a violation of laws of physics?
No, 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 exactly. I don't think it is at all. I
Oh,
think
which
what it is,
sure,
we
please.
don't
Which law
understand it
of
yet.
physics did Jesus rise from the dead with?
I'm trying to explain it if you let me
Yeah, okay.
explain.
So
If-
let's just set the clear criteria that the guest is about to give. He's about to tell us exactly the law of physics that was invoked to raise
Sure.
Jesus from the dead, and he's, take note if he doesn't
No,
give the name
I'm
of a
giving you an
law of
example of how
physics.
we don't know what
Sure, so
those
you have
laws are
no
yet.
idea. Okay, cool.
Sure, I concede to that. I don't know what it is, but I know it's not. I know it's not
Why would I think it's a law
abnormal
of
to.
physics?
Oh, can you let me explain and stop
Sure,
interrupting me
please.
then? Okay, so have you heard of Jack Parsons?
Nope.
Do you know who he is? Okay, he invented solid fuel for rockets. Okay, he started the JPL, which is the precursor to NASA. Okay, this man, he was much smarter than you and me. Okay, he believed that he was able to. He was practicing rituals with a man named L. Ron Hubbard, who started Scientology. Okay, and he was literally practicing demonic rituals to, and this you can Google this, by the way. This is in public realm of knowledge that he did what's called the Babylon working ritual to summon a demon called Babylon. This man, okay, had some type of understanding, who actually practiced physics, unlike you, who just, sophistry about it. But the reality is, this man actually practiced the physical realities, and he actually created solid fuel for rockets. Okay, he invented it. So this man has an understanding of the physics that you and I both don't have. Okay, and he also believed that he could summon a demon called Babylon. Okay, whether or not this happened doesn't matter.
Oop. Hello? You cut out. This is a very long name for a law of physics. Are you there?
Sorry, it went silent for some reason.
Yeah, well, you cut out.
Okay, sorry about that. So I'm saying that we don't understand physics fully yet. And what I'm saying is that that is an honest understanding of when I research these men who are smarter than you and I, and they are believing that this is taking place, that there's a physical thing that's taking place. I have to ask myself, okay, maybe I don't fully understand everything, and it's probably hubris for me to assume that I do. And I'm going to start to have to take other things on faith, right? And when I see miracles taking place, when I see other parts of life that show that there are actually these things taking place, and I can't just deny it. Okay, maybe there's something beyond my sight, beyond my I can measure, that is taking place here. And when I evaluate the reasons that these things are taking place, it tends to all point to one man, Jesus Christ. The Quran points to this person. All of the Abrahamic faiths do. Even the Vedas, for some reason, who would predate Jesus, have these allusions to a Christ-like figure. And it's like, when the evidence starts to point, I used to be an atheist, okay? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is when you research all of the religions, it's strange that the largest faiths tend to agree that whoever this man was they don't talk about him in any other way other than his significant figure.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you an argument. Premise one, the laws of physics are symmetric. Premise two, if the laws of physics are symmetric, then the laws of physics entail conservation of things like energy, momentum, etc. Jesus walking on water or resurrecting would be a violation of things like laws of conservation of momentum. Therefore, Jesus' resurrection or his walking on water would be violations of laws of physics. Which part of that would you reject?
I wouldn't reject that. Actually, I think that's true. That would
Then
be a
you just
violation
conceded
of
that it is a violation of laws of physics.
Yeah, this part. Yeah, I think they're in this scenario, from how we understand physics now, that has to be a violation of physics. That might be why we consider it a miracle. It might be one of the ways that, like, a 2D character can't understand a 3D character. This might be a way that God is trying to represent himself in a way that we would understand by showing that, hey, I am in control of all the laws of physics. which would point back to God, right? So maybe in this particular circumstance, but what I'm trying to say though is that that doesn't necessitate that it is a violation, because we don't know how physics fully works yet. There's a lot that we don't understand yet about the universe. So right now, you're absolutely right. How we would understand that would be a violation. We'd be like, wow, this can't be true. So if I
Sure.
were to see that with my own eyes, I'd be like, whoa,
Sure,
that can't.
sure, of course. So then, based on our current evidential analysis of these sorts of things, then the evidence would weigh against any supernatural explanation, because all of the evidence that we have is in favor of the universality of laws of physics. Which
Well,
means
if
that
you
we have
call
the
it,
entire, all the evidence
that
in
would,
favor of physics as a field would just be evidence against miracles.
I don't know what an evidence against miracles would be if you see one and it still happens, right? So it doesn't mean the evidence at that point doesn't really matter if I'm seeing something that's going against it and I can't verify. I can't
Sure,
verify
but I
why.
haven't seen a
So I have to
miracle.
come up with an explanation,
Yeah,
and I don't
sure.
have a reason. But the best explanation, right, is typically going to be what people would call a religious one, right? Because we don't know. We don't know what's causing it. But the reality is that I have to be honest with myself when you are seeing, as I have in my life as a Christian in the call reforming. I'm sure other Christians have seen this as well. If you haven't, explore it. Go and see for yourself. Do healings like this take place? Like, how would I explain that if I saw that for myself? If I know people in my life that have claimed to die and see heaven and hell,
Wait, before we
right?
like totally pivot
So,
away, so
sure.
the claim that we're talking about, I'll just go back to like the two considerations. The first is that there's tons and tons of evidence for laws of physics, the universality
Mhm.
of them, and second, that supernatural things would be violations of laws of physics in this instance. So, would you agree that from
From our
this
current
it
understanding.
follows that there's just like lots and lots of evidence, all of the evidence in favor of the laws of physics, that this evidence weighs against any miracle type explanation?
No, because it's our current understanding.
Sure, but we're just operating based on current understanding for the evidentiary argument.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the best explanation though, because we
Why
don't know.
wouldn't
We
it?
don't have
Whoa,
all
the
of
best
we don't have all
explanation
the
is only going to
information.
use the data that you currently have.
Correct. Yes, that's true. So
Sure.
if I have all of the understanding that I can, right, of physics, but something is violating my current understanding, the best explanation isn't that is impossible. The best explanation is maybe we don't fully understand physics.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that,
That's
that's
totally fine, but we don't need to fully understand physics to understand a specific part of physics. Just that if laws of nature are
Well, how would that
symmetric,
follow?
hmm?
That absolutely, I do not agree with that. So what you're saying
You
is we
think that
would
it's
not.
impossible to understand any aspect of physics unless you understand all of it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because if you don't have the full understanding,
So,
it
for
could
example,
absolutely
that like
necessitate something that
particles
we thought was true is
exist,
false.
electrons exist. Electrons have a negative charge. You don't think that you can know that electrons have a negative charge unless you know literally so you don't know anything about physics?
No, not that you can't know that. What I'm saying is that how our interpretation of what that effect is, we don't really know until we have a full understanding, which we'd never have. So what I'm saying is that's in a continuum. We're always going to have more information that may, for example, we couldn't understand until Wolfgang Pauli understood the neutrino, right? And he was laughed at. They were like, no, there's no such thing as a neutrino. What are you talking about? Until it was found, right? And it completely changed how we understood physics. So what I'm trying to say is that what we have to do is be very, very careful with saying, oh man, because I understand this thing, now I can understand every aspect of it.
Whoa,
That is
wait, sorry, I
absolutely
didn't say
fallacious.
that. I'm just saying that we can understand one very specific part of physics. That's my claim.
Yeah, but we didn't understand one specific part of physics, which was the neutrino.
But
And he was
can we
laughed at.
do you
So
think it's possible for us to understand any fact about physics? Currently, right
you're not
now, can we know
understanding, man, what
anything
I'm
about
trying to explain to you.
physics?
Today, if you're in a continuum, like today, if you were to take it in a vacuum, yes, but you're not
Okay,
understanding. What I'm trying
perfect.
to say to you is that if you want to isolate your life to a vacuum and say, yeah, today on whatever today is, I understand physics and I will never have to learn again, right? Yeah, okay, your argument stands, but I just think that's stupid. So what I'm going to say is, no, I don't understand everything yet about physics,
Do you
and I'm
accept
going to start to
conservation
say,
of momentum?
yeah,
Oh, well,
absolutely,
that's
and like
perfect
that's why
then.
I said that
Wait, sure.
today
So
we
okay,
would.
wait. Conservation of momentum is true. But
No,
the
I don't
resurrection would
know
be
if
a
it's true.
violation
I'm
of
saying today
conservation.
we
Whoa,
understand it to be
whoa,
true.
calm down. Conservation of momentum would get violated by the resurrection, which means that all the evidence in favor of conservation of momentum is evidence against the resurrection.
Yeah, again, according to your continuum of today, how that
You
operates,
you
and
just said
assuming
that
that
you
we don't
accept
discover
conservation of
that's
momentum.
today, assuming we don't understand something in the future, we could in 200 years understand the natural understanding of how
Do
the
you think we need
resurrection
to
took
withhold
place.
judgment if we don't have all the relevant facts?
I don't know. No, because in that
Okay.
scenario, we wouldn't be able to actually figure out what the neutrino was. You know, when we do that, you get laughed at, actually. Wolfgang Pauli, if he did that, he would have been laughed at. And he did actually get laughed at. But we wouldn't know what a neutrino is. So you can't withhold judgment until you have all of the evidence. You have to make hypotheses. And so the hypothesis is that this is the best explanation.
Mhm.
And if you want to withhold judgment, I think you're a moron. I'm not trying to be mean. But what I'm saying is that we all make judgments based on one direction or the other. If you're just going to say, well, it can't be this, that's moronic. We have to be honest because we don't know. So the reality is that the resurrection happening, I believe, is so highly attested based off of the historical documentation that the best explanation is that I don't know what the physical reaction or the physical cause is. There must be, but we just may not understand it yet. So that is
but certainly it would need to
conclusion.
be a violation of conservation of momentum. So if the resurrection happened, conservation of momentum is false.
If the resurrection happened, I don't have to know what the reason is. I just know that I don't understand
But
it.
would you agree that it would involve some sort of movement of particles that would
I
not have
don't know
otherwise
that.
taken place?
I don't know how you would even evaluate that. You're just making speculation. You're just saying,
Well,
oh,
I'm
well, it would be
asking
this.
you.
You're
Do
just
do you think that it
speculating
would
as to what it would
involve
be.
like some movement of particles that would not have otherwise happened given like the
That's
trajectory of
speculating.
particles?
I don't know, dude. I don't
You
know.
have
I don't know
no
what
clue.
I don't know.
You have
I
no
have
clue if Jesus would have
none
just
of us do,
resurrected on its
and you
own.
don't
You have
either.
no reason to think that Jesus resurrected because of the will of God. You don't think God's
No,
will
what I'm saying is
resurrected
that there's
him?
if there is a physical explanation, you and I both don't know what it is.
Oh, well then it's not a
And what I'm saying is
miracle.
that you're surmising what you think it would be,
Wait, so
and that
then
is unfortunately
if it was
fallacious.
if
But it
it's
is a
within the laws of
hypothesis too,
physics,
as
then
well.
why would it demonstrate God?
No, because my point is that the violation is how we understand it today.
Wait,
I
but if it's
told
not
you
a
at the beginning, I
violation, then
don't
how could it be
truly
evidence for
believe that
God?
it's a violation of. I don't believe it is a violation of physics.
What
What I'm
question
saying
did
is
I
it
just
would be.
ask you?
Go ahead, repeat it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for the third time. If it's not a violation of laws of physics, how could it be evidence for God?
That's my point. Today, that would be a way of God communicating with us. That's how. That's why it would be such a completely unbelievable thing, because we'd be like, wow,
But
how is this
how would it
violating
be him
our current
communicating
understanding?
with us if it's not a violation of laws of physics? Like, how would we know that it's him?
No, Ian, you're not understanding. I'm saying today
Please,
it
yeah,
would be a
I'm
violation.
not understanding. Yeah,
Today it would be a violation as we understand physics today. What I'm
yeah.
saying is I don't
Oh,
believe that it
wait. So then you
actually
agree
is
that given
important.
the current evidence, the best explanation is that this is a violation of conservation of momentum.
Today, correct. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, then all the evidence in favor of conservation of momentum is evidence against it.
Yeah, I guess you can say it's evidence against it,
Okay,
but that
sure.
doesn't, to
So
me,
what do we
lead to
have
any
more evidence
conclusion.
for?
It
Conservation
doesn't
of
give you any
momentum or the
explanatory value if
resurrection?
it did happen. What I'm saying is, Ian, what you just said doesn't matter if it happened.
Yeah.
So what I'm
So what
trying
do
to
we
tell
have
you
more
is
evidence for? Conservation of momentum or the resurrection?
the current understanding, and those are two different
But I'm
fields,
asking,
but
what do we have more
with
evidence for?
that's a very strange question because they're
Just
two
answer the
different fields.
question. What do we have more evidence for? Conservation of momentum or the resurrection?
The resurrection. I thought you said for Jesus Christ. So, I mean, yeah, it would be physics. You would
Sure.
any conservation of momentum. We would have more. We would have more evidence for.
Okay.
Now, what that conclusion leads to is nothing important when we're evaluating history. Why is that important? Because we don't fully understand what the consequence of the claim that Jesus rose from the dead is if it's true. We don't understand that today. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're trying to evaluate what happened in first century Judea, right? When thousands and thousands of people are suddenly believing in this person, and no other cult really spreads this way, right? It's like the way that they typically
Well,
spread is through violence.
except like
And they,
Mormonism.
Yeah, exactly.
which spread way
violence
faster than Christianity and
through
didn't spread through
violence.
violence.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you don't know the history of Mormonism? You don't know the
Clearly, you
history
don't know the history of
of Islam
Mormonism. They were literally persecuted
because of what? Why were they persecuted?
because they were causing chaos,
Yeah, thank you. So my point is that
but
most
like social
religions.
unrest.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point, Ian. If you can
Do
think
you
for
think
two
they
seconds,
spread through their
most
social
religions
unrest? They
spread
were
through
so
violence.
like
They do.
socially disturbing towards people that people were like, "Wow, I want to believe this." That's what you think?
No, it's called a cult, dude. That's how you get in.
Sorry,
You cause people to believe something that's false. They don't
what's
realize
your
it.
definition of a cult?
When the typical behavior of a cult is that they're going to brainwash the believers and they spread through violence.
Brainwash how?
This is They brainwash them through mechanisms of um, typically blackmail, social pressures. They put basically they put such intense pressure upon the generations after them to follow how they've been following, that they become brainwashed into the system. And if they try to leave, there's mechanisms designed to prevent the ability to leave. For example, if you study Scientology, this was specifically designed by L. Ron Hubbard. He specifically designed his religion to make it nearly impossible to leave. Okay, he has very, very good systems for why this is set up. And then he says also in certain letters that the world is a game. This is how he has set up his view of the world, and he was very successful at creating this cult. He said that there's players, there are pieces on the game, and the players are basically the ones who set up the rules. The pieces are those that you don't want to know the rules. Okay, L. Ron Hubbard literally said this. You do not want the players to know the rules. I'm sorry, the pieces to know the rules of the game. And then he goes, then there's a game maker, the person that set up the game, and they don't have to follow the rules. Okay, this is your typical format that you see in creation of cults. Okay, so why do we know that Christianity isn't? Because people go against their own best interests. Okay, and they know that they may die. They're not going to willingly die for a lie. So or for what they know to be a lie.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Could you actually tell me, like, what was the violent event that the Mormons spread Mormonism through?
It's particularly social unrest, like you were describing.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Give me like this. You said that they used it. They spread it through violence. What violence did they use? Because you were talking down to me for not knowing the history of Mormonism. I looked into it. You're fucking lying. I can save you the Googling. What you'll find is when you Google it, you'll find the Mountain Meadow Massacre, which they were not spreading Mormonism during. And you'll find the Utah War, in which it was a conflict between the United States government and settlers. They were not spreading Mormonism by butchering people. If you're off the app, you gotta come back. I can't hear you if you're off the app.
Can you hear me now?
Hmm?
Sorry. So what I'm saying is that you were right before. I don't know why you're backtracking. The social
Wait, I'm so
unrest
sorry.
that we
Wait, just go ahead. You said that they spread it through violence. What violence?
I already explained that.
Which violence?
Social unrest systems that they
Do you think
the
that's
violence?
violence?
Is being perpetrated upon their
Do you think?
own
Wait, do you think
kids.
social unrest is violence?
Yes, when
Okay.
when
So
you
they actually
mentally and
banned
physically
disabled
abuse your
people from
children,
being
Ian,
in
that's
public.
violence. Do
Wait,
you
let's
not?
just calm down there. Just relax. So they
No.
banned
Do you
disabled
do
people.
you believe?
Wait, just
No,
calm
no, we're
down.
not
Your
gonna let you
voice
say.
jumped like three pitches.
If you
Oh,
abuse
you're
your children, do you
fucked,
call
and
that
you know you're
violence?
fucked, which is why your
Do you
voice
know it's
jumped like 10
violence when
pitches
you
just
hurt your
now.
children? When you hurt
Sorry.
your children, do you know
So
it's
they
violence?
banned disabled people from being in public in like the 1900s. They were called ugly laws because of the social unrest that them being in public caused. Do you think that disabled people were doing violence by causing social unrest by their presence in society? Was that violence?
No, what I'm
Sure,
explaining
then
to you
social
is that
unrest is
the
not violence.
system.
Try again.
You
What
just you
violence did
Google for 2 seconds,
Mormonism? Whoa,
Ian. You don't know the
calm down
history.
there, mouth breather. Just relax.
You're not. You don't
What?
call me a
What?
mouth breather. You're a mouth
Do
breather, bro.
you want to just
You're a
answer
mouth
the
breather.
question,
Hey,
or
kid,
do you want your
how old are
voice
you?
to crack a couple more times?
How old are you?
What a W
Calm down.
pivot! I'm not letting you off the hook. So
No,
if
how old are you?
social unrest
Seriously.
is not a form of violence, what's the violence that Mormons spread their religion through?
I already explained it. Do you
No,
call
you
child
didn't.
abuse?
No, you
Is child
didn't.
abuse
Just go ahead.
violence?
Whoa, calm down there, mouth breather. Just go ahead and
No, don't do that.
differentiate the instance of
Is child
violence.
abuse
Which
violence?
violence did Mormons use to spread Mormonism? Go ahead.
I just explained it to you.
Name it.
You
Whoa,
create a cult by
calm down,
creating
cretin.
mechanisms that
Calm
hurt
down.
the people
You're
that are in
crashing
the
the fuck
cult.
out. Which
So
form of
think about
violence
it.
did
So
they
Helter
use?
Skelter operated the same way. You create a system of violence that hurts others by blowing up areas, hurting those people, and then those that are in the system are brainwashed to continue the
When
violence.
did Mormons do
okay?
this? When did they blow up an area?
Stuff for you right now. You know how long ago I read these books? Dude, go research the history of Mormonism and then come
You
back
should be
me.
able to
Don't
name the
Google for 5
event.
minutes
If the
and think
event
you
existed,
understand it.
you'd be able to
You
drop the name
Googled
of
for
it.
5 minutes. You're a
Calm down,
moron.
mouth
You
breather.
don't
You're
know what
getting
you're talking
upset.
about.
Your emotions are betraying you right
No,
now.
you're a mouth
Everyone's
breather,
seeing
dude.
that you're lying.
You're a mouth breather.
If
dude.
you
don't
were,
know what
if
you're
you
talking
weren't
about.
lying, then you'd probably be able to cite the thing that you're talking about. You're not able to
No, I
cite it
read this,
though.
dude. I read this over
Tragedy.
a decade ago.
Your emotions are
The
betraying
history,
you right
the
now. Your
history of
crash
cults is
out
something I
is
studied
giving
10
you
years
away.
ago.
You
So
actually
you're
have
gonna
no
go
clue what
look
you're
it up.
talking about, which is why you can't name any event. And when you get pushed to name an event, you
Yeah,
get upset.
sure, dude. Yeah, do you understand that Mormons right now run trafficking rings? Do you
Probably
understand
do.
that?
Do they do that to spread
Oh, they
Mormonism?
do. Oh, they
Do they
do.
spread
So you
Mormonism
agree
through
with
that?
that?
Are
Is
they?
that
Do you think they're
violence?
like preaching like
Hey, is that
Joseph Smith
violence?
through that?
Is that violence?
Are they spreading Mormonism through that? That is violence. Good question.
Oh,
Are they spreading
good job. You
Mormonism
figured it
through
out.
that? Is the question.
So if you're running trafficking rings,
Whoa, let's just
right, and
calm
you're
down there,
doing that,
mouth breather. Are
so
they
yeah,
spreading
so
Mormonism through
Ian,
that? Is the
so Ian,
question.
so Ian, yes, they absolutely are. So
What's the source for that? Go
if they're
ahead.
spreading,
Go
if
ahead
they're
and give me the
spreading,
source for that.
yeah, it's called opening a temple. You know,
It's
moron.
give me
It's
a
called
real
opening a more.
source.
It's operating, like for example, in Clearwater, the
This trepid
Scientologists are taking over.
troglodyte. Give me the source that
These
says that they're spreading Mormonism this way.
spreading Mormonism what way?
Yeah. Through the method
Through
that you
sex
just
trafficking?
listed, that through human trafficking, Mormons are trying to spread Mormonism.
Oh wow, you don't understand how trafficking rings work.
Yeah,
Oh
this
my god.
guy's just not
So
going
do
to
you
answer the
think? Wait. So
question.
do you think this is? Do you
How
think
many
that this is
hours
how
of
this
weasel
operates?
footage did you watch in preparation for this
So wait a
Dodge
second.
Fest? Just answer the
So wait,
question.
do you think?
What
Do you
is
think
your
that the way
source
that
for the
a sex
claim that
trafficking
you
ring
just
works is
made? What's
is
the
in public?
source?
Do you think that's how it
Give a
works?
source for the claim that you just made.
Yeah, it's very simple, dude. You have to understand that these sex trafficking rings don't operate in they have a front that they use, and it's called Mormonism, Catholicism. There's many of them. There's a front. You don't understand the
What there
basic thing
isn't
when
is
you're
a
arguing.
source.
Oh wait, so you don't now you're denying that
You
these
have no
exist.
source. No
So now you're
source that they're
denying
spreading
that these rings
Mormonism.
exist.
I
Hey,
agree that the rings exist. Maybe I
oh,
slammed
how
you
do they
so hard
exist
that you're
then? So
concussed
how do
you
they
forgot my
exist?
position. The
So how do
sex
they exist?
trafficking rings do exist. What I'm
Okay,
denying
how do they
is that
exist? So
Mormons
do they
spread
operate with
Mormonism
fronts?
through them, that this is like a way that Mormons are attempting to spread Mormonism. I'm sure that there are Mormons that are involved in sex trafficking. That's just a statistical inevitability. What I'm
Yeah.
denying is that this is any method that they use to actually try to spread Mormonism.
Oh, so they don't blackmail people.
Just
So
go
how do you
ahead
get
and give
somebody
me the
caught in a
source that
sex
says that they
trafficking
spread
ring?
Mormonism
Do you know
this
what a
way.
honeypot is? Do you
Your
know what a honeypot is,
desperation
Ian?
is palpable. That's why you
Ian,
can't
do you know
provide a
what a
source for your
honeypot is?
argument. I do know
Look
what
it
a
up.
honeypot is. Do you want to go ahead and give
Okay,
the
so do
source,
you
or
know
do
how
you want
they
to keep on
operate?
pivoting?
Do
So,
you know how they
if
operate?
if anybody's watching
Hey,
closely, you'll
Google for
probably
5
hear a lot of
minutes.
things.
You
One
need to
thing
go
that you should
learn.
look
You
for is a
haven't read
source.
anything on
What
this.
we're trying to
Go
get is a
research for
source
5
from him,
minutes
and
what a
he's freaking
honeypot
the
is.
fuck out. That's why he's jumping from
Go
topic A to topic B
research
to topic
what
C to
a
topic D,
honeypot
is because he
is,
can't provide a
boy. You're a
source for
little
his
boy. You
claim.
don't
So what he's
understand
going to
basic
do
things of
instead is
life.
just freak the fuck out,
Look
isn't
up
it?
for 5 more
Do you have a
minutes.
source for
Google.
the claim?
Yeah, you can Google it
You
because
want
I'm
to?
not going
Oh,
to
you
do the
just
work
want
for
to give
you.
me the source? You could
You
really
don't know
embarrass
how
the
to.
fuck
You don't
out of
know
me
how to
if you
do the
just provided
research.
me the
You don't know how to do
source
the research.
that says that
Go look it
Mormons
up.
are proselytizing, that they're trying to spread Mormonism through sex trafficking. That would be
Who
an
said that?
incredible source. You can actually
You
like
think that's
humiliate
how
the
it
fuck out of
works?
me by just
You think
spreading
that
that. That's the claim.
proselytizing through
That's the
sex
claim that
trafficking is
you're
how you
trying
literally
to
believe it?
provide evidence for.
Do you
You're
guys
trying to
hear this
provide
kid?
evidence that Mormons spread Mormonism through violence, or that they did spread Mormonism through violence.
He agrees that sex trafficking rings exist.
Yep.
He agrees that they operate through fronts. He agrees
Mhm.
that these things are all in front of our freaking face, yet he doesn't understand that the front can't be explained by, oh, by the way, we're spreading sex trafficking and we're spreading our religion.
Well, wait,
Guys, it's a
are they spreading
blackmail
Mormonism is the
system,
question.
and it's a honeypot system
I'm
that is
trying to figure out
used
whether or not they're
to
spreading
trap people.
Mormonism.
That's how it's if you're a Mormon and you're doing it and you're gaining territory and you're gaining what's called corporate capture, right? And you're capturing area by in ingratiating your church by taking over. That is spreading Mormonism, you moron.
But what's the source that says that they're trying to spread Mormonism that way? Let's just calm down there.
Hey, no,
just
no,
relax.
Breather, you listen to me.
Whoa, wait, do you think that it was a form of culting? Do you think?
Go look up how
let's just chill out there. You're not very original, are you? You have to steal my insult to try to use it against me?
Yeah,
I'm just going to point out that you're uncreative, which is going to be a vector to a new insult.
You don't understand.
You have like 30 IQ points. This has been an abysmal showing on your behalf. You can't provide a source for your claim, and when I ask you for a source, you freak the fuck out. And the reason why you freak the fuck out is because you don't have a source. Do you think that colonialism, when Christians did colonialism, do you think that made Christianity into a cult?
You really believe in this bullshit. Do you know
you don't believe in colonialism? You don't think colonialism's real?
Tell me who William Wilberforce is.
Do you want to calm the fuck down?
Who is he?
I have no idea who he is.
Think you know what it is.
Well, I just want to know, first of all, do you have a source for your original claim? Or second of all, are you denying the existence of colonialism? These are the things that I'm curious about. Whoa, you sound mad as fuck. Calm down.
Who in this West
just relax, buddy. You sound super upset.
You mouth breather.
Whoa, calm down.
Who stopped slavery in the West?
A lot of people.
Yeah, who is the number one? Who started it?
Who started?
You don't even know.
Who started slavery? Who started the ending of slavery?
Why was the Abolition of Slavery Act started in Britain?
Sorry, wait. What specific piece of information are you looking for?
Go look it up, you moron.
Which piece of information? I'm sorry. What's the piece of information that you're asking for?
Look it up, you boy.
I don't even know what you want me to look up.
William Wilberforce.
I don't even know what the question was.
Yeah, who by single-handedly, due to his faith in Christianity, stopped slavery single-handedly? Okay, over
John Brown.
And decades of failure. His name is William Wilberforce. You don't know who he is.
Well, I think John Brown is an acceptable answer to your low IQ, dumb fuck, underspecified question.
His name isn't even John Brown, you idiot.
Oh, that could totally be true. What is it? What's his name?
This guy's a freaking mouth breather. You have the gall to tell people that, you moron.
No, it is his name. Stupid fuck.
Dude, no, it's not, dude.
That is his name.
William Wilberforce is who I'm referring to.
Just goddamn stupid fucking idiot. That literally is his name.
No, that's American, you moron.
Yeah. You asked, your question was who ended it through his Christian faith. Maybe you should have specified your question a bit better. Your question was who through their Christian faith was able to abolish it.
No. Who started it? Why was slavery abolished?
Who started the abolition of slavery? Who started the abolition of slavery?
You're gonna ask the question.
It was started in France, apparently.
Yeah. Oh wow. You believe everything you read, don't you? In Google.
You're telling me to Google it, and then you're telling me to not believe Google.
I gave you the name, and you couldn't Google it.
Whoa. Let's just calm down there. So apparently we looked it up and you're actually just dead wrong about that. It seems like slavery was not banned by Britain first. It seems like it was banned by France, and then it took hundreds of years for Britain to go and ban it.
You have got to be kidding me, dude.
Do you think that that's false? When do you think slavery was abolished in France? You don't even understand
the question.
Whoa, calm down.
Who started
You sound like super upset. Your question was different every single time. I don't know if you're aware of that.
By the way, France is the one that did it. What are
dude, your question that you asked me, when I asked you to restate the question, you said who through their Christian faith was able to get rid of it. You didn't specify Britain until afterwards.
I gave you the name.
Whoa, maybe if you spent less time crashing the fuck out and more time actually formulating your questions, you wouldn't have blundered so badly.
Yeah, I blundered. You gave me
you did blunder, yeah.
I gave you who
also,
it is,
you didn't think that John Brown was his name. You didn't know who John Brown was.
Abolitionist,
you said that John Brown wasn't the name of the guy that I named.
No, I didn't. I said
yes,
that
you
in
did.
Britain. It's William
It's
Wilberforce.
literally all recorded, big dog. You said that's not his name. That's not even his name. When I said John Brown, you literally did say that wasn't his name. You didn't know who John Brown was.
I'm talking about John Brown. This is hilarious. You don't know who I'm talking about, do you?
I have no idea who you're talking about. No.
You don't know who I'm talking about.
No, I also don't know what the relevance is.
Yeah, the relevance is that your bullshit history
Whoa, calm
course that
down.
told you that there's all this colonialism. You have no idea who the
Oh,
number one guy is that started in Britain the Abolition of Slavery Act that was the catalyst for why America stopped slavery. Yet you're going to sit here and be like, oh, these colonialists. Dude, you were given an incredibly biased education that deleted the primary individuals that you don't know about in history, that you literally stand on the shoulders of giants.
I have a question for
And they're
you.
Christians.
The unique ethnic group of people native to Latin America, where'd that come from? You know, how is it the case that across Latin America, people are part Spanish? How'd that happen?
Oh my goodness, dude. What are you going to say?
You're saying that colonialism didn't happen. I'm curious, like, where did those people come from?
No, you think I said colonial doesn't have? Oh my
Is
God,
that?
you're a moron.
Oh, sure.
Dude,
So when they were
do
doing
you know who
colonialism to
okay,
spread
no, look,
Christianity,
I'm gonna give
did
you a
that
name of
make
do you even know any of the tribes?
Christianity
Do you know
into
any of the
cults?
Native American tribes? Do you know any of the Native American tribes?
Do you want me to name as many as I can?
Yep, go ahead.
Ojibwe. What do we got? The Kumeyaay, Arapaho.
Okay.
Sure. We'll give it.
I want to
Cherokee.
ask you something. Were any of them warring before we got here?
Yeah, some of them were warring.
Who?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay, look this up. You're going to need to because you think colonialism is just this Western. Oh my God, we came in just destroyed
Whoa,
people.
wait,
Do
you're
you
shifting the
understand
claim.
how many?
Okay,
Do you
here's what
know-
I'm going to
do you
do for
understand
you.
How many of the British and how many of the Americans were forced to side with one tribe or the other? I'm not going to give you the answer to this because I'm not going to wipe your ass. But you don't have a correct version of
So
history.
here's what we're
because
gonna
you were
do.
given a history by people who
Your original
deleted
claim.
Christianity.
Spreading your beliefs through violence is sufficient for cult status.
Not sufficient.
Ooh.
I said it's one of the primary mechanisms that you can use to determine whether or not.
So what is your
a
definition of a
religion is
cult?
It's varied. It's very nuanced. So
Please,
a
yeah.
cult is
We'll
typically
just write it
going
down.
to-
We'll go linear. What's your definition of a
Yeah,
cult?
I'll make it simple for you. So the cult is typically going to have indications of brainwashing. Okay, that's one of the mechanisms that you're going to see. Number two is you're normally going to see mechanisms of forced retention. So you're going to be able to keep people from leaving. There's a mechanism involved that's usually with social engineering. There's usually mechanisms of social engineering. There's going to be also systems of violence. Those are multivariate. Those are going to be mental, physical, emotional abuse, typically that you see in the system. There's also going to be usually doctrines that are claimed to have passed down by an angel. That's going to be another one. It's usually an angel, not God. It's going to be an angel. These angels are going to usually be satanic in origin or an alien, something like that. Sometimes they'll be good angels, right? So there's going to be some type of doctrine, some type of language that is handed down to the cult.
Sure. And would you agree that indigenous residential schools fits all these criteria?
Indigenous religious schools? Absolutely
No,
not.
residential schools.
No, absolutely not.
Wait, so
Actually,
you don't
they've
you
been
disagree
hurt
that
the
that
worst.
involved that the indigenous residential schools involved brainwashing, forced retention through the suppression of their original languages, that these people couldn't leave, that there was violence employed against them? You would disagree with that?
Oh, yes, that has happened to them. Yes, absolutely, I agree with
Oh,
you.
then Christianity is a cult. Thank you so much.
No, that wasn't Christianity that did that.
Oh, that
No,
is.
no,
Wait,
no.
we can look to the history of it.
I know the history of this moron.
Yeah,
That
sure.
what
Wait,
you're
so if you know the
referring to.
history, who founded
The
them?
history was not Christians. They were Satanists masquerading as a front as Christians. You freaking
Sure. Wait, how do you know that the Bible
How
wasn't
are you
given
going
by
to bring up a
Satanists?
claim and you don't understand the source of it?
So wait, how do you
are
know
gonna
that the
bring up a claim
Bible?
to me?
Whoa, calm down. How do you know the Bible wasn't manufactured by Satanists?
Because we see the actions they took. They didn't
How
absolutely
do you know that
decimate
history
the
wasn't
residential
manufactured by
schools like the
Satanists?
Satanists did.
How do you know
in
that
the
that
name of
history wasn't
God.
manufactured by Satanists?
I can explain perfectly how I know that.
Please, yeah.
The reason you know is based off of the behaviors of those who are writing the information down. The behaviors of those individuals.
But how would you know
you're
what their
talking about
behavior
at the
is if you don't
resident-
know the history?
I do know the history. You
But
just
how?
don't.
Oh, then
Let
your
me
question
explain it to
begging.
you.
The question is, how do you know that the history wasn't corrupted by these all-powerful Satanists that have the power to corrupt the history books? You know, how would you be able to
Really?
discern
You're just
that?
going to create a conspiracy theory?
Yeah, you're literally running conspiracies, and this is the problem with them. I'm exposing to you
this is
the
very well
difficulty with
documented. You're just not well
conspiracies is
aware.
that they infinitely
No, Jack
regress.
Parsons
You can run a
running the
conspiracy
Babylon
theory
working
about
ritual
conspiracy
is
theory.
not
How do you
a
wait? How do you
conspiracy.
know? How do you know that this Parsons person isn't a fabrication invented by the Satanists? Laugh like
Wait,
the
wait, do you believe
Joker
that?
to avoid
Do you
answering.
believe that? Do you believe that?
I'm asking
believe
you, how
Jack
do you know
Parsons,
it's not
the
the case?
guy
I
who
don't believe
started
that
the
there are these
JPL?
all-powerful Satanists, but how do you know? You believe in
Wait.
all-powerful Satanists.
So
How do
you
you
think
know
Jack
that they
Parsons-
didn't
you think the
manufacture
history
this
of Jack
individual
Parsons
as
running the
a
Babylon working
figment
ritual
of history?
is a conspiracy? You think that's a conspiracy?
Well, I'm asking you, how do you know that these all-powerful Satanists didn't manufacture it?
Wait. So, okay, I'm going to take your idea even further.
How do you
So,
know that these
the
all-powerful
reason I know
Satanists didn't
that-
manufacture
The
it?
reason I know that is because that's not how history works.
That's not how
They
history
write
works.
down-
He
they
has no
write
answer for
down-
it. I'll just ask the question again. You know, that's not how history works isn't an answer. History is corrupted by these Satanists. How do you know
So how do you-
otherwise?
So where's the what method are you using to evaluate that Jack Parsons didn't exist?
This guy keeps on short-circuiting over himself.
Hey,
I'll ask the
Jack
question
Parsons,
again.
since
How
you
do you
think-
know that
since you
Jack
think Jack
Parsons wasn't
Parsons-
manufactured by Satanists?
Yeah. So what's your methodology for?
I'm
for
sorry. How do you know that Jack Parsons wasn't manufactured by Satanists is the question.
How are you coming to that
So
conclusion?
what we're going to do, we're going to write the question
How are you
behind
coming
us.
to that conclusion, mouth breather?
We'll
How are
write
you
the
coming to that
question
conclusion?
behind us, then we'll ask
Because
him until he
I'm taking
answers.
basic
The
history
question
and
is very
reading it.
easy.
What are you doing to come to
How
the
do
conclusion of a
you
conspiracy?
know that Jack Parsons isn't manufactured by all of these Satanists?
Who are all of these Satanists? You're making
Isn't
a claim that makes no sense.
False history manufactured by
Do you
all
know
of
the
these
religion that he
Satanists.
practiced? Okay, hey, let me ask you. Do you know the religion of Aleister Crowley?
So that's going to be the first dodge. That's dodge number one. I'll ask the question a second time.
so do you know
How
what the
do
Book
you
of the
know
Law
that
is?
Jack Parsons isn't a fiction manufactured by all of the Satanists? How do you know?
Because I know, because there's an actual literature, you moron.
Answer.
Did an invisible
Because
person write it?
there's literature. Now, follow-up question.
So who
How
wrote the
do you
literature?
know that all of this
wrote the literature?
literature isn't a fiction manufactured by Satanists?
Oh my God. So when you read it, you open a book and you read it, buddy. And when you read it, it tells you the rituals in it. And guess
But how do you
what?
know that that isn't
Guess what you'll
manufactured by
also be able to find?
Satanists?
Guess what? You'll also find, buddy. You'll also find direct sources to the ancient manuscripts that they're using and that they claim.
But
to
how do you
get
know
from
that those ancient
entities.
sources aren't manufactured by Satanists?
So you think Egyptians are?
Well, I'm
are
asking you,
manufactured by
how would you
Satanists?
know? Because these Satanists that have the power to manipulate all of history, you know, these
Not all of
Satanists don't
history.
exist in my worldview. This is
Specific
a problem.
events
Whoa,
that can
calm
be
down there. This is a
confirmed.
problem for your
Specific events that
worldview.
can
It's
be
not a problem for my
confirmed.
worldview because I don't believe in these powerful Satanists that have the power to manipulate all of history. You do. So how do
don't
you
even
know that they didn't
the
manufacture these
story of
ancient
Jack Parsons,
documents?
you moron. You don't know the story of Jack Parsons and John.
So we'll write the question
you don't know
down.
history.
How do you know that these
called
ancient
history, dude.
documents aren't
Look
just
I want everyone to notice
fictions
something.
manufactured?
This is actually an
by
honest. This is the first time that Ian is being
Satanists.
honest. He evaluates all of history with the same
Dodge
skepticism.
counter,
He
and then we'll get
doesn't
the answer.
believe
So
anything of history.
question
He
number
doesn't
one,
believe that you can
how
read
do you
history
know
and
that these
believe
documents
history,
aren't
yet
just
he'll say
fictions manufactured by
colonialists-
Satanists?
Colonialists.
That's try number one.
See what he's doing? He's going after
That's
Christianity.
dodge
They'll
number
believe
one. Let's
only-
get try
they'll
number
believe
two.
only
How do
history
you know that
goes
your
against
ancient
that
documents
goes
that you're
against
citing aren't
Christianity?
just fictions
Notice,
manufactured by
he won't-
Satanists?
he won't
How do you know
mention-
that?
Notice. He won't
Dodge number
mention
two. He's
any
terrified of the
history
question,
that
refuses
is
to
in
engage with it.
agreement agreement with
So
Christianity.
I'll
This
ask
is
the
how you know
question
Ian has
for a
been
third
brainwashed.
time.
Ian is
How do you know
brainwashed
that these
because
ancient
he
documents
knows,
aren't
he
just
knows
fictions
that he can't
manufactured by the
believe anything
Satanists?
that
This
agrees
guy's
with
crashing the
Christianity.
fuck out. What
He
a
has to
pathetic,
agree.
abysmal
You
showing.
have to agree
What
with
we can
only
do,
things that
we can just ask
disagree
him the
with
question a third
Christianity.
time. How do
Anything
you
that
know that
disagrees with
these ancient
Christianity, he's
documents
going
aren't
to
just
claim
fictions
is somehow
manufactured
a
by the
fiction.
Satanists?
Yeah.
Stop
So
crashing
you're
out and
going to
answer the
think that
question. You've
everything
at
is a
this point
fiction, brother.
dodged the
Other
question. It sounds like
than,
you're trying to convince yourself by just stating it over and
listen
over
to
again.
yourself.
The question's
Listen to
very
yourself.
easy, and yet you've dodged it 3 times.
Ian,
How
listen
do
to
you
yourself.
know
You
that these
only, do you
ancient
see how
documents aren't
brainwashed you
just
are?
fictions
Do you see how brainwashed you are?
manufactured by
You
Satanists?
think
Answer the
everything is
question.
manufactured
Dodge
by
number 4.
Satanists. You
We'll
think
ask the question
everything
a
is
5th time. This guy
manufactured by
quads the question and yet will
Satanists.
persist
Listen
in
to
asking
yourself.
the question a
You will
5th
say that
time.
that's more
How do you know?
reliable.
Whoa, calm down there, mouth
You will
breather.
think
Just
that that's more
relax.
reliable.
How do
That
you
belief,
know that these ancient
then
documents aren't just
believing the
fictions
actual
manufactured
document,
by
what they say.
Satanists?
They actually claim to talk to
What's your
demons,
answer to
bro,
that question?
in their history.
What's your
Their
answer to that
documentation
question?
claims. Their
Sorry.
documentation history
What's your answer to
claims.
the question?
I already did. I'm explaining it to
Sorry.
you, moron. I'm
So
explaining it to you,
it's
moron.
the answer is what?
Listen to me.
Please,
the
yeah, go for
history
it.
is that they wrote it down.
They wrote it
The
down.
history.
They wrote it
Yes.
down. And how do you know that?
Thelemites. Do you know what a thelemite
Wait,
is?
I'm sorry. How do you know that?
Because they're written down. Alistair
Wait,
Crowley
so they wrote it down, and you know that they wrote it down because they're written down.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
it's called a history
What a
book.
fucking genius.
So why
But
do you
how do you
believe
know that they weren't
colonialists?
manufactured by
Ian,
Satanists?
Hey, why do you believe that colonials?
Sorry, wait, why do you
colonialists
think they were
exist?
how do you know they weren't manufactured by Satanists?
Yeah, how do you know that colonialists did what you claim they did?
Yeah, insofar as
How do
there
you-
are
how do you know,
records of it,
Ian?
and I don't have this
Oh,
I
you
don't
have
have this
records of it.
all-powerful being
You
that's
have
trying to
records of it?
deceive me about history. You've told
Oh,
me
you
that
have
I need to be
records of it.
skeptical about history, that when I look something up on Google, that I can't believe the history of it.
So you can only believe history that disagrees with Christianity.
No, you can believe history that
Do you notice
supports
that's what
and
you're
favors
doing?
Christianity. I'll give you
Do
an
you realize
example
how
of that. Whoa,
brainwashed you are?
wait, do you want to calm down? Because I think
You
that
believe the
Josephus
records
exists,
that
and I actually
you
think
think
Jesus
are
existed
real.
too. If I only
Only the
believed
records that
the
you think are real.
history
If
that
I give you a
support
record-
or that went against Christianity, then why would I believe
I'm
that
giving
Jesus
you
was a real
actual
historical
records.
figure?
I'm giving you real records, you moron.
Do you want to answer the
Listen to me.
question?
I'm giving you real records.
Do you want to answer the question?
These records are real.
Do you want to
It's
answer the
called
question?
The Book of the Law by
Do you,
Alistair
he doesn't want to
Crowley.
answer the question, it seems.
No, I don't want to talk to a moron that is going
Whoa.
to continue to dodge.
Calm
I want you
down.
to understand something.
Whoa,
You don't
just
understand
chill
history.
out. You sound upset.
No. I'm not. This isn't about being chill, dude. This is
Whoa,
about you
well, you should
realizing
chill
that you
out.
are
You should calm down a
brainwashed.
bit. There's really
You
no
are
reason
brainwashed.
to get mad. There's no need.
I'm not angry. I
You
want you
sound
to understand
pissed.
something. You don't understand that you believe
What I'm
lies
asking you,
because you
if the
believe
only
the
history that
reports
I
you
believed was
think
the
are
history
real.
that went against Christianity,
You
why would it be
believe
the
only
case that I
reports-
believe in Jesus?
You believe only reports that
Like,
go
why would I think
against
that he was
the
a real
Christian
historical figure that
worldview.
existed
That's
if I
why they
only believe the
removed
history
William
that
Wilberforce.
goes
That's why
against
you don't know who
Christianity?
he
Like, why would
is.
that be the case?
The point is that you don't know who any of these figures are because you believe only history that disagrees with Christianity.
Yeah.
The reason why you're asking is
Of
how do you
course,
know
except for
that
all
this was
that
written down
history
by
that I
Satanists?
believe in that
Look
actually goes in favor of
into the records I'm
Christianity.
giving you. Look into the records I'm giving you.
Mhm,
They are
yeah.
real. They're historical. There's not a lie. They're just something that disagrees with your worldview, you
yeah.
moron. So listen to it yourself, okay?
Wow,
You're
compelling.
brainwashed into only
Yeah,
believing
compelling stuff.
records that are disagreeing with
Yeah.
Christianity. This
You'll
is
know them
why
by their
I'm trying to
fruits. You
explain
know,
this
it's
to
what
you.
Jesus says.
So look into these records. Go look into the book of the law. Look into the claims.
Do you want to
of
look into the
Thelemites.
question that I just asked you?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Ask me another brainwash question.
Yeah.
about why I
If the
don't- how I
only
know that they're not- they
history
wrote
that I
down
believe
records.
in is the stuff
They
that
wrote
goes against
records,
Christianity, then
brother.
why would I believe that
They
Jesus
wrote
existed?
down records. Do you believe in historical
What question
records?
did I just ask you?
I'm asking you. Do you know what a
Wait,
historical
you
record is?
you told me that I could ask you
Do
a
you know what
question. Did you
historical
lie?
records are?
When you
Ian,
said that
do
I
you
could
know what
ask you a
historical record
question, were
is?
you lying?
Listen to you, bro.
Were
You're
you?
not
Did you
listening.
lie just
What
now?
are
Did you
the
say like something
records
that
you
was
believe in?
knowingly false? You said
What
that I
are
could
the
ask you a
records you believe in?
question and then you wouldn't let me ask the question.
Brother, you're not.
So the question is just,
same
if the only
world.
history that I believe in is the history that goes against Christianity, then why would I believe that Jesus was a real historical figure?
Because that's agreeing with the actual data. Bart Ehrman,
So
an
then I
atheist,
don't just
knows
believe
that.
the history that goes
scholarship
against
believes
Christianity.
that.
You conceded.
No, that's
Your
not true,
claim was
because
that
you're
I
looking at
only
Satanists
believe
that
So,
were
okay,
written
what
down
we're going to do, we're going to
information.
write down the claim. So, this guy made a very specific claim. His claim was, Ian only believes in the history that goes against Christianity, but he's conceded this point that I don't just believe in the history that goes against Christianity. He conceded it.
Yeah, so what I'm referring to is a scholarship. So the mainstream scholarship, you will
So
believe
wait,
only
oh,
that.
you blundered then.
So mainstream
When you said history, you meant
is
mainstream
anti-Christian.
scholarship. Is that right?
Mainstream scholarship is anti-Christian. What you're not
Mainstream
understanding
scholarship. Well, yeah. I mean, reality is anti-Christian.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you believe because you've been brainwashed. So what I'm saying is that you don't
What's the
understand that
argument
you
for that?
stand on the shoulders
calm
of giants
down.
that are Christians. So Newton, for example, you'd like to talk about physics, but you have no idea.
You like to
that he
pivot
wrote
all over the
more.
damn place.
You
How about we just
don't
stay in one
know
place?
that
There's no
he
need to
wrote
pivot.
more.
There's
He
really
wrote
no need to
more-
pivot away from the topic that we were
He wrote more on
discussing.
theism.
Why
than
are
he
you
did
pivoting?
physics.
Why are you dodge?
So that's removed from history. You're
Dodge.
not dodging. I'm trying to
You're
explain a
pivoting.
fundamental
Stop
reality that you
pivoting.
don't understand at your young
Dodge.
age. You don't understand that the world is
Dodge.
not presented to you
Dodge.
in a way that is fully true.
Dodge.
So therefore,
Dodge.
Google is going to only show you results
Dodge.
that are
Dodge.
filtered, that are anti-Christian,
Dodge.
because that in Silicon
Dodge.
Valley, it is the least
Dodge.
Christian area. You
Dodge.
believe biased information.
Dodge.
That is the
Dodge.
reality. So
Dodge.
you can try. See, this is an example
Dodge.
of brainwashing. They will
Dodge.
just try to overspeak when you're giving true information.
Dodge.
Everything I'm saying is true, and we all know
Dodge.
that. Google
Dodge.
filters results
Dodge.
based on data
Dodge.
that is biased.
Dodge.
We all know this.
Dodge.
That's why it's hard to find
Dodge.
information unless you have the
Dodge.
information in advance.
Dodge.
If you didn't know who William
Dodge.
Wilberforce was, if you
Dodge.
searched for who stopped
Dodge.
Britain's
Dodge.
slavery, you wouldn't be able to
Dodge.
find it.
Dodge.
Okay, so everyone, please
Dodge.
listen to me. This is
Dodge.
the reality that we're dealing with. That this, the guy right here is going to tell you over and over and over again.
Dodge.
Don't listen to this.
Dodge.
Don't listen to this because he's so
Dodge.
scared
Dodge.
of the fact that he's been
Dodge.
brainwashed. And he knows
Dodge.
it, but he can't,
Dodge.
he can't accept it. It's very difficult.
Dodge.
He would prefer to believe
Dodge.
that the entire
Dodge.
world was written by Satanists.
Dodge.
Okay?
Dodge.
Not Christians, like we all know.
Dodge.
Christians are
Dodge.
the ones that built the world that
Dodge.
you're in. They are the
Dodge.
ones that reason you have the
Dodge.
comforts that you have.
Dodge.
It's Christians, and the
Dodge.
behaviors of those
Dodge.
people are going to be
Dodge.
selfless, loving. They're going to
Dodge.
do the things that, and it's not
Dodge.
about being nice. That word comes from the
Dodge.
word nescius, by the way.
Dodge.
It is a word that means idiot.
Dodge.
It means
Why are you
fool.
pivoting? I'm not
So
going to let you pivot.
nice
You can
doesn't
try to
mean that
dodge.
you're
I'm just going to call it
moral.
out.
So it doesn't mean
We
that
can
you're
keep on
moral if
calling
you're
out your
nice.
pivot for
So
as long
I'm
as you're going to keep
explaining
trying to
you
pivot. Stop
that
pivoting.
the Google results
Stop
that you're going to
pivoting.
seek is
Stop pivoting.
always going to be
This
filtered
guy's
by
short circuiting. He's like
biased
short circuiting his way
results.
down his dialogue tree. I mean, now that you're
So-
refusing to engage in the substance, I'm just going to rhetorically blow you the fuck out. The reason why
Yeah,
every
so-
single person in chat's making fun of you and nobody respects you is because you refuse to answer
Oh,
a
I
single
don't mind
question.
that.
You
I'm
got
used to
easily
that, my
lolcowed.
friend.
You
The
lost on the meta.
reality is
You
that
lost on
you
the
Google
substance. You're less
something, you can Google
rhetorically and
something all you
substantively
want, and you
sharp
will
than I
find
am on
biased
this
results.
topic.
I'm not gonna let
You
you
keep
talk
on
over
taking
me.
L
You're
after
moral.
L and you keep on
You're a
digging
mouth
yourself into a
reader.
deeper and
You don't
deeper
know what
hole.
you're
You'll be
talking about. You
sitting in
don't
your
know
bed
who
looking
Jack
at the
Parsons
ceiling
is.
at
You
night
would prefer
thinking
to
about this
believe
fucking
that the
loss
world
that
is
I
run
handed
by
you. You just keep on
Satanists. You would
taking L after
prefer
L,
to
digging yourself into a
believe that
deeper
the
and
world is
deeper
run by
hole. Now
Satanists
lock
than
in
to
and answer the
believe
question.
the reality
Stop
that they wrote
dodging the question.
down
Stop trying to
on
pivot
their
away. I'm not
own
going to let you
books.
pivot
They
away.
wrote down
You can keep
their
on trying to short
beliefs.
circuit your way
They
out of
wrote
this. I'm just going
down
to
their beliefs,
redirect you
Ian.
back to the
They
topic that we
wrote
were
down their
already
beliefs.
talking about.
They wrote
You're not
down their
capable of
beliefs.
actually engaging in the
They wrote
discussion.
down their
The
beliefs.
question
They
is
wrote it
very
down in
simple. It's
records.
just, do you
You can
concede that
simply
that's
look
not the
them up.
case?
I'm
You made a
giving
claim
you the
about me that I only
results.
accept the history
I'm giving you the
that
records.
is
Giving you
anti-Christian,
the
but that's
records.
not
Do you
true.
want them? But
So
you're not open to them.
if
So you
I only
want
accepted
to
the
consider
history that's
anti-Christian
anti-Christian,
sources.
how could it possibly
If
be
it's
the case that I would
anti-Christian
believe that
source,
Jesus
that's all you
existed? That
want.
wouldn't make much sense.
That's all
If
you
I only
want.
accepted the history that's
You only
anti-Christian,
want
you'd think that I would just
anti-Christian
believe that
sources.
Jesus didn't
You only
exist.
want
But that's not
anti-Christian
what I
sources,
believe,
not
because
the
I actually follow
book of
the
the law.
truth, the reality, and the evidence
Yeah,
of the
you
matter.
sure
Whereas
do, brother.
Christianity
You follow only what
covers
you
you
think
in
is true.
delusions. Like this
You
guy has
think
been
you
yapping for the
only
last
follow
5 minutes
what you
straight. You'd
believe
think
to
that
be
they'd put
true.
some quit in it
And
or
that
some
is
tire
the
in him,
reality.
but
You
he's just not
only
able
follow what
to.
you believe
You know,
to
and
be
you can
true.
rhetorically
You
beat on your
don't
chest and call me
follow the
brainwashed, but every
reality
single
of
person that's
the
tracking the conversation,
history.
both
You
rhetorically and
don't look at
substantively,
actual
can see that you're
history.
getting your fucking
Look
back
at
blown out. You're
actual
incapable of
history.
actually engaging in the discussion, engaging in the
Go
dialectic.
ahead and
All you can
try
do
to
is whine, cry,
overtalk
and
me.
pivot.
Try to mute me. It's fine. But the reality
I
is you
didn't mute
don't
you.
believe any
You're
other
delusional.
sources. You don't believe any other sources other than anti-Christian sources. I've given you
Is
the
Josephus an
exact
anti-Christian
religion.
source?
If you need to look
Is
up,
Josephus an anti-Christian source? Ooh, fuck! Another blunder.
you think that isn't what I'm
He
referring
tried.
to by
He
anti-Christian.
forgot that he can't engage on the substance, so he tried to
I'm
engage in it for
giving
half
you
a
what I
second. Then he
told you is the
short-circuited,
anti-Christian
realizing that he's not
source.
going to be able to.
It's called
Holy
the
shit!
Book of
You
the
proved in
Law.
real time that you're incapable of
I'm
actually engaging in the
explaining to you what it
discussion.
is. It's called the Book of the Law. Look it up. It describes these things I'm explaining to you. What you don't understand is that the Satanists are not in control, but they are real. So it's like, okay, well, how do they operate in this world? They take on covers, you moron.
Do you think this answers
It's
my
very
question?
simple. So what you need to understand
Do you
is
think
that
this
when they
answers the
take on
question?
covers,
Are you answering the question right now?
you're not answering my question.
Well,
So I'm not going to
so
give
first
you
of
the
all,
delay.
you didn't ask
So
a question,
the
you
reality-
rambled.
Yeah,
So
I did.
the question
I
that I asked you
what
is
source
Josephus an
would you
anti-Christian
believe that is
source?
not anti-Christian. What?
Yeah,
what
Josephus.
source? Okay, perfect. So at Josephus,
Wait, and then do you
believe-
concede that
do
I
you
don't believe exclusively anti-Christian sources?
So no, I did not say that. What I'm
You
saying is-
did. You claimed multiple times that I only believe in anti-Christian sources.
No, I did not.
Let's
I'm
replay it.
explaining
We have
that
it's
what
all
I'm
on
saying is
record. Let's
the
just
narrative.
replay it to you.
The narrative. You don't have the mind to understand my argument. You're not nuanced
What's the
enough.
argument?
The argument is that you
Give it away. I'm not
believe
going to let
only
you
the
give it away.
narrative. Down
You can keep
their
on trying to
beliefs.
short circuit your way
They
out of
wrote
this. I'm
down
going to
beliefs
redirect you
in it.
back to the topic
They
that we
wrote
were
down their
already
beliefs.
talking about.
They wrote
You're not
down their
capable of
beliefs.
actually engaging in the
They wrote
discussion.
down their
The
beliefs.
question
They
is
wrote it
it's very
down in
simple.
records.
It's just, do you
can
concede that
simply
that's
look
not the
them up.
case?
I'm
You made a
giving
claim
you the
about me that I only
results.
accept the history
Giving you the
that
records.
is
Giving you
anti-Christian,
the
but that's
records.
not
Do you
true.
want them? But
So
you're not open to them.
if
So you
I only
want
accepted
to
the
consider
history that's anti-Christian,
sources.
how could it possibly
If
be
it's
the case that I would
anti-Christian
believe that
source,
Jesus
that's all you
existed? That
want.
wouldn't make much sense.
That's all you
If I only
want.
accepted the history that's
You only
anti-Christian,
want
you'd think that I would
anti-Christian
believe that
sources.
Jesus didn't
You only
exist.
want
But that's not what I
anti-Christian
believe,
sources, not
because
the
I actually follow
book of the
the
law.
truth, the reality, and the evidence
Yeah,
of the
you
matter.
sure
Whereas
do, brother.
Christianity
You follow only what you
covers you
think
in
is true.
delusions. Like this
You
guy has
think
been
you
yapping for the
only
last
follow
5 minutes
what you
straight. You'd
believe
think
to
that
be
they'd put
true.
some quit in it
And
or
that
some
is
tire
the
in him,
reality.
but
You
he's just not
only
able
follow what you
to.
believe
You know,
to
and
be
you can
true.
rhetorically
You
beat on your
don't
chest and call
follow
me
the
brainwashed, but every
reality
single
of
person that's
the
tracking the conversation,
history.
both rhetorically
You
and
don't look at the
substantively,
actual
can see that you're
history.
getting your fucking
Look
back
at
blown out. You're
actual
incapable of
history.
actually engaging in the discussion, engaging in the
Go
dialectic.
ahead and
All you can
try
do
to
is whine, cry, and
overtalk me.
pivot.
Try to mute me. It's fine. But the reality
I
is
didn't
you
mute
don't
you.
believe any
You're
other
delusional.
sources. You don't believe any other sources other than anti-Christian sources. I've given
So you did say it. You said I only believe in anti-Christian sources. So do you concede that you were just completely wrong about that? Look down, buddy. Look at the phone. You gotta unmute your microphone. So can we
What
just
I'm
get like
saying
the
is the
concession on that?
No, because you don't understand the narrative.
You
is what I
made
was
a
referring to.
claim. Can you acknowledge
The
that the claim that you made is
anti-Christian-
wrong?
No, it's anti-Christian narrative, you moron. You don't understand the
You said
argument.
that the sources I believe in are, I only believe in anti-Christian sources.
Yes, that exactly. That goes against Christianity, meaning the outcome that they believe is that Jesus was not resurrected. Do you believe any source that agrees with the reality that Jesus did not resurrect? That
So
is
do you
what
do you
my
think
claim
Josephus is an anti-Christian source?
Because, bro, it's the narrative.
Okay. The
The
question
narrative. The narrative.
is
So
Josephus
would not be an example
an
of that.
anti-Christian source?
Do you understand? It's anything that has to do with not agreeing or coming to the conclusion that Jesus resurrected.
Wait, is Jesus an is Josephus an anti-Christian source?
No, don't you? Why don't
Oh,
you
well,
get
I
this
believe
yet?
in Josephus, so then I don't believe in only anti-Christian sources.
No, the narrative that only agrees with the fact that Jesus rose from the dead.
Okay.
Why is this so hard
Let
for
me
you to
break this
understand?
down for you. So you made the claim that's on screen. Ian only believes in anti-Christian sources, but you're saying that Josephus is not an anti-Christian source.
Yeah, do you get it now, brother?
Okay.
You're an
Let me
idiot.
formalize this contradiction for you.
No, I'm going to formalize it for you, mouth
Okay.
breather.
So premise one,
I'm
Ian
explaining
only
that the
believes in
narrative-
anti-Christian sources. Premise
Mouth
two,
breather, the narrative is that I'm saying that you would disagree with.
Ian
is anything that
believes
leads to the conclusion
in Josephus
that Jesus did not rise
as
from
a
the dead.
source. Premise three, Josephus is not an anti-Christian source. Okay, so how would you like to reconcile the contradiction that's on screen?
Josephus is not an anti-Christian source.
You reject that,
Simple.
you think that Josephus is an anti-Christian source.
It is not an anti-Christian source.
So you agree with that?
It's not exactly. Do you get it yet?
So
It
you
is
so
not
you
an
agree that you're
anti-Christian source.
contradicting yourself?
No, they're not. I said you believe only anti-Christian sources. It's not an anti-Christian source.
Yes. Yes. So then you're contradicting yourself. Yes.
No, it's not.
So
an
I
anti-Christian
only
source.
believe in anti-Christian sources, but I believe in Josephus. And Josephus is not an anti-Christian source. So then the initial claim that I only believe in anti-Christian sources can't possibly be true.
The narrative.
Wait, which one of these things is false? Is 1, 2, or 3 false?
Oh my God, dude. Why are you not getting the narrative?
You can just name 1, 2, or 3, please.
So Josephus is not included in that. That would be not considered an anti-Christian source. You believe only the anti-Christian sources, which are by narrative, is my argument.
But
things that lead you to
number
believe
2,
that.
though,
So you're trying to
I
insert
believe
Josephus as
in
one of them.
Josephus as a source.
But Josephus doesn't support the narrative that Jesus rose from the dead. Why don't
So
you
wait,
get
is
this, you
Josephus
moron?
an anti-Christian source?
No, but it's neither a pro-Christian
Okay.
source.
When you
So you're
said
not
I
understanding. What I'm saying
only
is that
believe
it's
in anti, well, calm down.
my
Calm
argument
down.
is that they're pro-Christian.
You
bro.
sound really upset
It's-
right now. Just take a deep breath
No,
and chill
that they're
out. So
pro-Christian.
when
right?
you
So what I'm
said that I
saying is
only believe in
anything that is
anti-Christian
pro-Christian,
sources,
meaning that the meaning of it is pro-Christian.
Did you blunder?
Is Josephus a pro-Christian source?
he's not an anti-Christian source is the key thing.
Thank you.
You
So
said
now
I
you
only
understand what I
believe
meant
in
by that.
anti-Christian
So now you
sources,
don't-
but then
no,
we've
no, no, you don't
identified
get
a
it.
source
You
that's
don't
not
get it.
anti-Christian that I believe in.
It's a source that the outcome is that Jesus rose from the dead. Anything that believes that, you do not agree.
But how would
That's
you
what I'm
like to
trying say.
reconcile the
So that would
contradiction?
be, I explained it already. You don't understand
But
what I meant
do you
by
reject premise
anti-Christian.
1, 2, or 3?
Anti-Christian is equal to pro-Christian is what I'm trying to say.
Do you reject
So
premise 1, 2, or 3?
Josephus is not an anti-Christian source.
You
but
agree
is not
with 3?
Also a pro-Christian source,
Yep,
right?
yeah, but the claim is just that it's not an anti-Christian source.
No. You don't know what I meant by that argument, you moron.
Oh, of
It's a
course, yeah.
pro-Christian.
Calling me a moron, saying that you misspoke.
Ye-
You know, I
Exactly.
misspoke, you
Oh,
fucking
wow.
idiot.
Oh, wow.
God,
Did you
you're
figure
such
it
an
out yet?
idiot.
Did you figure
I
it out?
said the
Because
wrong combination of
wow.
words. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's just a bold rhetorical play to say, I
So
misspoke,
pro-Christian,
you
no, I
idiot.
explained it to you. The
I
narrative.
just don't think you should be
were
calling people idiots
overspeaking.
when you're admitting that you
When you overspeak
misspoke.
someone, they have
You know?
a hard time explaining because you're trying to
When you
you're trying to
said
do this
that
roundabout
I
thing and
only
cause them
believe
to
in
make a mistake.
anti-Christian sources, was that a blunder?
In the sense that it was meant to be pro-Christian, yes. That's
Okay,
what
so I
meant.
only believe in
So-
pro-Christian sources?
No, you don't believe any pro-Christian sources.
Oh, okay, wait. So then you would concede that you were wrong when you said this.
By your definition of anti-Christian, yes. My definition of anti-Christian is saying that any source that requires you to believe that the end result is that Jesus rose from the dead, you will outright reject it as not true.
Well, I
And
don't
that
currently believe. So is your claim just I don't believe in anything? Your claim is literally just I don't believe Jesus rose from the dead?
Any source that makes that claim, any source
that's-
that makes that claim,
That is correct.
what
Yeah.
you-
I don't
I know that's
believe
correct.
that Jesus rose from the
I know that's
dead.
correct.
So obviously,
what
I
I'm
don't
saying is
believe
those-
anyone who claims that Jesus rose from the dead. I would need some better
So-
evidence for
so-
that.
I know you do, but my point is that that's why you have a filtered and biased view, because a lot of the history that was written down were by those people that do believe that Jesus rose from the dead.
Which ones?
They're pro-Christian sources. For example, what has been removed from history, as I already told you, whitewashed, is William Wilberforce.
Well, I'm
Most
asking, you said that
Americans
people
don't
who
know
saw
he
Jesus
is.
resurrect. Where can I
What?
read the writings?
So the sources are people. You're not understanding my argument. I'm saying sources of pro-Christians. So people that are pro-Christian that believe that this actually happened. You won't believe their sources when they tell you, yeah, this happened in my life. Any source that has anything to do with pro-Christian belief, right? That's what I mean by anti-Christian, is why I use that specifically, was that those that are talking about Christianity being false, you will believe. Anyone that's talking about pro-Christianity things that is true, you will disbelieve. Case in point, Newton, you're going to reject all of his work on theism when he wrote more on it than physics, but you will perfectly accept his physics. So, but you will reject the absolutely profound works that he wrote in theism.
Did
You will reject
did
the
he make
work of
arguments
Saint
for theism?
Augustine.
If you want to give me one of
Excuse me?
Newton's arguments, and we can talk about it.
No, that's your job.
Oh,
That's your
sure.
job.
It sounds like you
No,
haven't read much on it
You're
either.
not understanding my argument. I say that you rejected them, not me. You son of a, what the hell? You want me to not lay it out for you and wipe your ass?
Whoa,
Dude,
calm
go
down.
out
It's just a
and- go
discussion,
out.
buddy.
I know, but you're
Yeah,
making
when
ridiculous
Newton
arguments.
claimed
You're
when
making
Newton makes the
ridiculous
claim
arguments.
God exists, I don't think that's true. I have good evidence against that.
Yeah, I know you think you do.
Well,
But
I do.
My claim is, what I'm saying is that you've only read sources that aren't from people that are smarter than you, that actually believe that this is true. And they
I've
lay
only
out
read
perfectly
sources from
cogent-
people who aren't smarter than me. What's the claim?
No, that believe that this is true, that this happened.
Oh
So what
no,
I'm saying
I've
is
read
that
lots
those
of
individuals,
Christian
if you
literature. Like
read
I've
their
read like Van
arguments-
Til and Bonson. I've read works from like a lot. There are a lot of theists that I respect like quite a bit. I've read works from people like Josh Rasmussen, people like Alexander Proust.
But you
I've read
reject
quite
it,
a
right?
bit of Christian
you reject it,
literature.
right?
I just think that their arguments fall flat. I think that the arguments
Exactly.
fall short.
So-
I've engaged
so my
with
point
it.
is that
I
you
just don't think
reject
it's true.
Anything that's pro-Christian.
Well, you reject
that's why
everything that's anti-Christian.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Everything?
Wait, so do you believe the sources that say Jesus didn't rise from the dead?
Wait, so everything? No.
Do
that
you
wasn't your
believe
claim.
the
Your
sources
claim was
that say
I
Jesus
reject
didn't rise from the dead?
everything. Wait, Ian, don't backtrack now.
So
Well, you said I
that's the
reject
exact same
everything that's
question. It's not a
anti-Christian.
backtrack. We're literally in
So
the exact
you're
same
saying I
spot.
reject
But what we can
physics?
do, he's
Physics isn't
panicking because he
Christian.
realizes that
You
he
think I
just blundered
reject
again.
physics?
So the question,
Do you think I reject physics?
do you believe in any source that claims Jesus did not rise from the dead?
Yeah, a lot. And I know
Which
that
one?
They're also, yeah, I just gave you a book by it.
Which
It's
one?
called, his name is Aleister Crowley. He wrote a book called The Book of the Law.
And it
doesn't
says that
believe it.
Jesus did not rise from the dead?
He doesn't believe it, but I believe what he's explaining. Yes. And so what he's putting in that book is totally anti-Christian, but it's also got some there's a truth factor to it because it's demonic. I also believe in the demon world. So you don't understand that your argument falls flat because your thinking is so linear that you don't understand nuance. I believe many things that are not Christian.
So I have the entire
And
book
many
of the law
conclusions.
pulled up here. I guess that's just chapter 1.
It is a completely anti-Christian book, but
But does it say that
proofs
Jesus
in it.
doesn't rise from the dead?
Yep.
Can you give me the page number for that? Because I'm looking at the PDF and it seems like it kind of doesn't claim that.
Oh, that's because you don't understand who Aleister Crowley is.
Well, I'm reading the PDF.
You have to, yeah,
so
that's his
the
book that he
PDF
wrote.
for the book of the law, I have Jesus. There's one instance of it. He appears, just right here, with my hawk's head. I peck at the eyes of Jesus as he hangs upon the cross.
Wow.
I flap my wings in the face of Muhammad and blind him. With my claws, I tear out the flesh. So it doesn't seem like you made that claim at all. It kind of seems like you just lied. So what's the
What
page?
did you just read, Ian?
Yeah, he's saying that he thinks that religions are silly. He never says that Jesus didn't rise from the dead.
He doesn't believe he's real. He doesn't believe that any of this happened.
Well, of
So
course he
when I'm
does.
He just explained it.
That
He
would be
just wrote it down
entailed
for
by
you.
him being on the cross,
You
is that
can-
you would accept that he was on the cross.
Yeah, but he didn't. He doesn't believe he
So,
resurrected.
but he never
doesn't believe that
claims
he's
he
God.
never claims that.
I know his beliefs. I've studied him.
You said in the
moron.
book of the law it says
He
this.
lays it out.
Did
No,
you
That's
lie?
just one of the sources. This is one of the sources. You have
Wait,
to do more
so when
than
you
study
said that it was
one
in the book
dude.
of the law, were you wrong?
No, it's
So
in that
where
first
in the book
page.
of the law does it say that?
You just read it.
No,
It doesn't.
no, it
He
doesn't say
believes-
that.
He believes that Jesus didn't rise from the dead. This is an
That's
example of.
simply not what it says.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you just don't. You look like an idiot.
We
because
literally
you don't
just read
believe
it
that
together.
Aleister Crowley. Do you not know who
We
this
we just
person
read
is?
it together. We read it together. We
you
read
not
the
understand who this
passage.
guy is?
All of us just read the passage.
Yeah. Again, do you not understand who this
You're
historical figure is
panicking.
I'm giving you?
I'm
Do you
so
know-
sorry. When you said that it was in the book that you cited, were you wrong?
No, I'm
You
explaining.
become
again
more
to you.
belligerent every time you get trapped, by the way. That's how you know you got trapped. That's how the audience
Okay.
knows you got trapped.
Ian,
is
I don't
because you
care what
get
the
way
audience
more
thinks.
belligerent. You
Most
get really
people
upset.
have no idea who this person is that I'm
That's
sharing
fine,
with
but
you.
you're getting like
And
super
that's the
upset
and
because
most people
you
in
just
this
got
comment
exposed and you
section
know
have
it
no
too.
idea what they're talking about anyway either. You barely know what you're talking about.
Oh,
So what I'm trying to tell you
well,
is that
on what
you have to
topic do I
research
not
who
know what
this
I'm
person
talking
is.
about?
Yeah, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're not willing to
On
listen to
which
somebody that
topic?
does know what they're talking about in this particular
On
subject.
which
So you're
topic?
not willing to hear. I'm explaining it to you in
But
terms of Satanism and
in
Thelema.
which topic do I not know what I'm talking
Thelema.
about on?
I've explained it in the religion
What's
of
one
Thelema and
claim
what they
that I've
believe.
made that was wrong?
That the book of the law is not an anti-Christian book.
I didn't claim
I
that it
also believe
wasn't. I never said that.
Oh my God, bro, you're backtracking so many ways.
I
It's
said
so
that it
scary,
doesn't
dude,
claim
you
that
literally
Jesus
believe what
didn't
you're saying.
resurrect. You're
No,
confused.
what I'm saying is that
What's
that
one
book
claim that
is
I
an
made that's false?
explanation
You said
of
I have no
the
idea what I'm
belief.
talking about. What's one thing that
Yes,
I said that's
it's
false?
a representation of the belief. What you
Whoa,
think that you
calm
have to write
down.
down in a sentence? Hey, I believe that Jesus didn't resurrect from the dead for it to be true. Do you think that
These
that
things
is
are
what has
actually
to be
totally
written?
compatible. If especially like if he's like a Satanist, you could believe Jesus rose from the dead and then also be
I know, but I
disrespectful
know his
towards him.
beliefs. You don't.
But
You
you
are
said
the
the
one
Book
that
of the
doesn't have
Dead
enough
made that claim,
information.
or that the Book of Law made that claim.
It's because of what it lays out, not the.
But it doesn't lay that out.
You don't have to lay it out in a sentence, dude. Are you
You
4 years
made the
old?
claim that that's what it
It's an
said.
anti-Christian book. He
Jesus
literally
only,
wrote the
well,
book
calm
against
down, mouth
God.
breather. It literally only makes the
No,
claim
no.
once.
I'm not the mouth breather here. You don't know what
I'm not the
Thelema
mouth
is.
breather. I'm
You
not the
don't
mouth
know.
breather, says the mouth breather. Calm down.
Yeah, you don't know what it
Just
means.
take a deep
You don't know
breath.
what the book means.
Take a
You
deep
don't know
breath
what
with
it's
the mouth
actually
that you
about.
keep
And you
breathing
look,
through.
dude, the reality is that Thelema is that what it represents.
So
I'll explain
let's
it
go
to you.
back to the
It
question.
represents
What's
do as
one
thou
claim
wilt.
that I made
It is
that's
a
false?
direct inversion of do the
He's not going to
will of
answer that
God.
question. He wants to call me confused, but can't name a single thing that I'm
You,
wrong about.
Ian, do you think you can learn anything?
Yeah, I learn things every
Okay,
single
let me
day.
teach you. Thelema, what it believes is do as
Hmm.
thou wilt.
Hmm.
It is an anti-Christian belief
Hmm.
in its starting point.
But what about
it's saying is
Tugama?
that it means that you are God.
Have you heard of like Tugama?
I'm not familiar with Tugama. What is Tugama?
Tugama balls, bitch.
Okay, so if that's how you're going to react to learning something, that explains it, brother. So Thelema is an anti-Christian belief at its principle.
Perseus,
He
are
called
you
himself
just
666.
a personal note? Are you into BDSM?
No. I'm anti.
I'm just
anti that.
confused
Yeah.
because you came by my live Monday and got ball gagged, and now you're taking back shots. I'm confused.
So I don't know who you are, man. But anyway, what I'm explaining is that the religion of Thelema, look it up. It is an anti-Christian book, but it has demonic principles that I believe to be true that he uses. So when you told me that I believe on only anti-Christian sources, that is not true. You don't know what I believe. But I do know that you only believe anti-Christian, meaning pro-anti-Christian, meaning that pro-Christian stuff you won't believe. If it leads to the conclusion that Jesus is the Son of God, you will outright reject it. That is the point that I'm making, that you will not consider it. And when you do consider it, because I think, now I'm remembering who's on this call as well. He was an ex-Christian, right? And he loves to talk about the Bible and how it means one thing or the other, but it's often taken out of
Yeah,
context.
you were there. You remember now.
Now I remember,
You
yeah.
are coming back. You getting roasted. Yeah.
I remember that
Hey, when you're done here getting spanked, come on by again. I'm going live in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Sure. But the reality is that the Thelema, that you don't understand how it works, right? These religions, they're not conspiracies. They just need to be studied. They're very well documented. And for you to say, well, how do you know that the satanic, this thing is taking over? Like, that's not the claim. The claim is that there's well documented sources that tell you, for example, that this guy believed he talked to an alien called Lamb, which he wrote it down. He drew a picture of it.
Oh, who cares?
And he received, well, because he can document a very, very interesting source of this information. Like, where did he get this information? It's very interesting.
Maybe he made it up. Maybe he hallucinated.
Well, whatever the reason is, my point is that I believe that he had an actual experience with demons. So
what's the evidence for that?
The rituals. The rituals that he has are very, very interesting, man. It's very scientific, actually. The idea is that you can combine certain chemistry with other with what they claim to be these entities, right? And that they can, there's a result that you can get from it. And there's a documentable result that these guys claim they can do. That to me was very, very
Have you
thought-provoking
replicated
as an
them?
atheist. Oh, I won't do them myself. No, no, no,
Oh,
no. I look at those who have and have replicated them and then claim they can, but I'm not going to delve into that stuff because I'm a Christian, right? As a Christian, my goal is to fight these guys. These guys are anti-Christian to the core.
if I
They
did one of
have,
the rituals and then nothing happened,
please don't do them, bro. Please don't do them. I'm not joking about that. By the way.
well, it's all like fictional.
Okay, if you believe it is, I'm not going to still tell you don't. I'm going to still tell you, please don't do them. They are absolutely evil, dude, and they
Okay,
are
right.
something that doesn't really. Not a lot of people don't understand, right? Like that these practices are happening. They're done all the time. They're very ancient practices. Okay, these are ancient practices that go back to the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Mayans. Okay, I've been spending many, many years studying this, and it's very fascinating to see that there seems to be some type of mechanism why they do human sacrifice is because they believe that there's some type of mechanism that will give them a result, right?
You
The
said this is
Mayans called
Aleister
it,
Crowley?
yeah, the Book
Okay.
of Law is from Aleister Crowley. Yep.
Sure. So I got Grok. I just want to know, okay, what's the easiest Aleister Crowley ritual I can do at home?
Please don't do that, dude. That's not why I'm telling you about this.
Well, we'll just like disprove it live on air.
No, don't do it.
Uh,
No,
is
I'm not. I'm
the
gonna have to jump off the stream,
lesser
dude. If you're gonna
banishing
do that.
ritual of the pentagram, the foundational ceremonial magic. Okay, wait, what do I have to do? Fuck. I
No,
need-
I'm gonna jump off this stream, dude. If you're gonna start doing that.
okay, wait.
Okay.
So we got
I'm telling you something that is very serious, and I think you're playing with fire.
okay.
I don't
So
know
we
if
got
you're-
we got to touch and like vibrate, fucking do all this shit. Then we gotta.
It's very complicated. You're not going to be able to do it on stream, but what I'm saying is by opening this stuff up, we're opening ourselves up to things that we don't understand. And I'm trying to tell you that this is a very real thing that very smart people, smarter than you and me, dude. These are engineers. These guys, look at who I'm talking about. Research Jack Parsons. He invented solid fuel for rockets, the reason we have NASA. These are very intelligent people, and they all tend to be into this weird shit. Okay, excuse my French. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm saying that when you look into what these guys believe, they all tend to believe in this weird satanic stuff. So why was I, I used to be an atheist, dude. Okay, what started convincing me was actually ironically, the reality of evil. Okay, and these guys seem to have a documentable method that people can follow that will produce a result, and I don't like that. I don't like that people are messing with it.
Wait. Okay.
I'm not trying to spread this because now what I feel like I'm doing is I'm spreading unintentionally very dangerous rituals, and that's not what my intention was. My intention is to help people understand that there is a tangible thing that these guys believe. I don't care whether or not it's true or not. I haven't done it myself. I don't know. What I'm saying
let's
is,
do it
and I
right
will never
now.
do.
So we got. This seems like doable. We could do. Okay.
No. You're not understanding. No, there has to be specific. There's
So touch
another
your
person who-
forehead and vibrate a ta. A ta. Touch your chest. Malkuth.
Okay. What you have to understand is that there are.
Veguber. Gubra. Gedula. Le Olam Aman. Where the fuck is east? What direction is east? There's like a compass here.
So
Okay. So we got east. Okay, then we got. Yiva.
well, I think the fact that you're making fun of this is showing how unfortunately
Adonai?
naive you guys are. Yeah, this is naive. Very naive. Anyway,
ABI?
what I'm explaining is that this guy referred to himself as 666. He's on the album for the Beatles on the left-hand side. there's a thing called the left-hand path that you guys aren't recognizing that exists. It's real. And what I'm explaining to you is that this isn't, child's
Before
play,
me,
you know?
Raphael. Okay, wait, that's in the
Yeah.
east. Okay. Before me, Raphael.
Yeah, so you already messed it
Behind
up.
me, Gabriel. On my right hand,
Yeah.
Michael. On my left hand, Uriel. For about me flame the pentagrams, and in the column shines the six-rayed star.
So this is what you decided to do, dude. You said I should do one of the rituals instead of actually looking up this stuff and looking up into what they write.
Well, seems
Very
like the ritual
interesting.
didn't do anything.
Yeah, I guess so. So what I'm explaining to you is you
So,
need to
I
research.
mean, you've
what
wasted
these
a lot of
guys-
time on
so-
gibberish, it
so-
seems.
So John Dee also was an alchemist and a sorcerer and engineer that worked for Queen Elizabeth. Okay, look up John Dee. He started what's
Does
called
he have
Enochian
rituals too?
magic.
Could we disprove? We just disproved all of Aleister Crowley. Can we
Yep, he
disprove
developed
John
what's
Dee?
called- Yeah, Aleister Crowley uses Enochian magic. He uses the magic. He uses this
Like
same
Pinocchio?
thing. This was the advisor to Queen Elizabeth. Okay, this guy was way smarter than you, Ian.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, way
Compelling
smarter than you.
argument, yeah.
You have so much
This person's
hubris, it's
smarter than you,
unbelievable.
therefore,
Yeah, dude, you should
their
probably take
belief
them
on this
seriously.
one
You
topic
should
is
probably
true.
take them seriously. Yeah, dude. Instead of thinking that you know it all, you have no idea.
Does
what
he
you're
have
talking
Does he have
about.
rituals
So-
too? Could we do some of his rituals?
Yeah, go look it up. You hubristic son of a bitch, dude. You
Sorry,
have no
wait,
idea what you're
sorry.
saying.
Whoa, let's just calm
You're
down
so
there.
hubristic. You're so hubristic. You have no idea that you take these things still. Like
Whoa,
I understand
just,
you
just
believe that
calm
it's not
down
real.
there. What's the
I
name of the
understand that you
second
believe
guy?
it's not real. His name is John Dee. It's where we get the name 007. He signed his name 007 to Queen Elizabeth.
What is the
So-
easiest John Dee
Yep, John Dee.
ritual that I can do at home?
You don't understand. You can't do it on stream. You're opening just a door, but you're not going to be able to get the effect because they are very. When I said scientific, I'm referring to like laboratories level scientific. Like they have to be done in a specific way. And that's is why you're not taking it seriously. These guys were engineers that developed this stuff, and you're taking it not seriously. But it's that's to your own, discredit. You're playing with fire like an idiot and not realizing like, dude, these were world leaders that practice this stuff. So there's something to it. A lot of guys that are involved in high level military, for example, Michael Aquino, he started the Temple of Set. And he was a lieutenant colonel for the army. Okay, he's a practitioner of this of these rituals. His name is Michael Aquino. If you want to look him up, he started the Temple of Set. He calls the believers Setians. Okay,
Why are we sprinting away at top speed from John Dee?
we're not. John Dee is just another one of these guys to know the history of it. I'm giving you the history. He started the Enochian magic. Okay, he believes he received this language, an angelic language, from I forget the name of the angel. I think it was Uriel or something. I can't remember. But he received this angelic language and he wrote these things down. And he, again, in history, they believe that they can get an effect. What's fascinating is that they're doing these things because they believe they can get an effect. In scripture,
Okay, wait.
there's-
I have a new ritual. Okay. Al san vorks goho lad balt lanch
Ian.
kals van fo subra
You can make
za
fun of
all
it,
roar
but what I'm trying to do is give you
nas
sources
tad
for you
sa
to do on your own
gra
time.
tab mal
Okay?
perk dis hulk
So-
qua notha zims od kama tal nubla zian soba thil no per aldi serbs
Man.
gobla gurzum kasram ohlura kaba pierds zonzurgs
So John Dee wrote
edan pilla farms adna gono
Ian, what are
idpil
you trying to prove right
diswam
now? You're
odta
being naive, brother.
Saba
You're being naive by
ipem
just
lu
stating a ritual
ipamis
that literally
dis
the
lul
advisor to Queen
vep
Elizabeth wrote.
zumd pamel
Why are you trying to make fun of it instead of just learn about it?
piap
Learn about it. I
piamel
know you're skeptical about it. Just learn about
vaun
it.
zacher
Stop being
gois
hubristic for
od
2 minutes
zamran
and
odo
stop
sickle
assuming that you know
qua
everything
and take a
Zorge,
few minutes to
Lap,
look into this.
Zerto, Noko,
Take a
Mad,
few minutes to look into
Hoeth,
this.
Zyda.
Take a few minutes to look into this stuff. Don't just
Whoa.
like, and not
Well,
just
there
a
it
few minutes,
is.
take
Another one that
time.
did nothing. Are there any more? Are there any more like ritual guys that you want me to disprove?
Yeah, you think you disproved it,
Yeah,
but
I
you're
just
not.
disproved two of them. You know,
You think you are like
we
a
just threw
child.
Aleister Crowley and
You're like
John
a
D in the
child,
fucking
dude. You do
blender, and
something for
we're
2
smoking
minutes, you
that
think you
John D
disproved
pack
it.
at the moment.
Dude, you think that you do something for 2 minutes that you can disprove something. That's how naive you are.
Yeah, you're
These
making a
are
claim.
very intricate rituals, dude. Very intricate, and they're very well thought out by very, very smart individuals, much smarter than you. And this is the part that you're not getting, dude. You got to spend time and research what these guys believe. If they believe something, then they're also believers in the physical, in the natural world. There's something to it that maybe we don't understand. If you're taking an honest approach to this, you're not going to react the way you're reacting. You're reacting like a child. You have
Yeah.
to look at this
Between the
honestly.
two
Is
of
there
us, I'm the
something
one
to
that
this?
sounds childish right now.
Act less naive and say, okay, is there something to it? Why does scripture mention sorcerers so often? Why is it that they try to purchase?
Because it's wrong. The reason why it mentions sorcerers so often is because it's wrong.
No, what I'm saying is that we can believe that, but there's also sources that show that these guys believe this. They're ancient practices. So
No, I know they
just haven't looked
believed
into
it, but it's all
Yeah, but they're-
confirmation
but they're-
bias.
That's no. What's confirmation bias is that you're immediately assuming there's nothing to it.
Well, we just
You're just
tested
thinking it's
it
fairy
and nothing
tales.
happened.
Yeah, no, you didn't test anything.
Yeah, we
They're
did. We
very
just tested
intricate.
two of them.
No, you didn't test anything.
Yeah, we
You don't
did.
know how that
We just
works. You don't
tested it.
understand that you have to be standing in a specific manner. It's very bro. When I say
No,
scientific,
no, wait, no,
what
you
I'm saying
don't.
is that there's measured.
You need to be
there's measured-
sitting.
No, you have to do it in a specific way.
Wait, so
You have to do-
if I look up the first Enochian call, it's not gonna say that you can be sitting?
No, why? Okay, look up to Jack Parsons' Babylon working ritual.
Whoa, yeah, I'd pivot away from that too.
No, I'm not pivoting.
You are.
I'm trying to give you an example.
Whoa,
of
you're
how
pivoting to a
intricate these
completely
rituals-
new person.
Because these guys all practice the same thing. What I'm trying to give you are just sources, bro. It's not pivoting. It's just giving you sources.
Can you be sitting for the first call? Can you be sitting
You have to be doing
for
a
the
specific.
first Enochian call?
Is this how you learn? You just Google things.
The
You don't read books?
First call. Oh, yeah, you can be sitting for it.
Yeah. Okay. So you just believe everything you read online. You Google it and you believe it. That's how you learn.
I've read more books about religion than you've read books.
Okay, man, you're hubris, bro. You think you're the smartest thing on the planet?
No,
don't
I
you?
don't. That's why I read so much, is because I
Oh,
know
don't
so
you?
little.
Yeah. Okay. So when you take, but the fact that how naively you just treated this, it just shows me how much you're a
Well,
liar.
what we did was test it, and it fell apart to testing.
You did not do anything to
Yeah,
test.
we
You don't
did.
have
We
enough
tested it. We just
information
did
to
it.
understand. You
Whoa,
don't have
we
enough
just did it. Calm
information to
down.
understand if you tested it.
Whoa,
You're
we
that
just tested
moronic.
it.
No, you
And
do
then it
not
fell
test something
apart.
that way. If I were
You've
to take something,
and I understand,
imagine if I were
right?
to say,
You know,
imagine if I were to walk into a lab,
sunk
and
cost
be like, oh, wait,
fallacy.
you
You've
claim that
spent a
Petri
lot of
dish has
time learning about
bacteria in it?
nonsense, which is why
You
you feel
think-
the need
you
to protect and defend
guys-
the time that
you
you've
guys
spent on
don't
this nonsense and
understand
insist
the
that it is
bills.
useful.
No, brother,
But
you
it's
just
not
started
useful,
treating
and we just
everything
did it,
naively.
and we just demonstrated that it's not useful.
You didn't demonstrate anything.
Yeah, we did.
And that's
We just
great
tried
that
it,
you
and
did,
nothing
that you believe
happened.
that, because I
Did
actually
something
prefer
happen?
people not to look into this stuff.
Did-
I actually prefer people not to look into this stuff because it's actually serious, and it's unfortunately
No, it's
that,
not. It's
that-
fake.
that- I guess. Hey, I'm glad that you believe that. Actually, I'm really actually.
Yeah, well, so does
you have no
everybody
idea
else,
how
right?
happy that
You know,
makes
we
me,
tried
because
it, nothing
unfortunately-
happened. It's fake.
Hey, bro, that makes me happy that you believe it's fake.
Mm-hmm.
The problem
do.
is that I know that there's men and women much smarter than you that don't believe that, and then guess what? They can prove it in many ways in their own scripture, in their own writing.
You're clearly trying to demonstrate the value of it. Like, it actually
No.
bothers you deeply that nothing happened. Which is why you're like so
You-
frantic
you
about
think-
this.
You think you can read minds?
I can read
Man, wow,
tones.
The hubris. The
You
hubris.
sound
Oh, chill.
frantic.
You can read tones. Really? How
Yeah,
do you do that?
it's obvious.
Explain
Your
it.
tone is frantic.
Explain how you read tones.
You can read tones the same way you read
what's
all
the
sorts of
scientific
different
method you
aspects
use
of
to
social
read tones?
interactions.
So you think
know, you can
read
read
my
people's
mind through my
facial
tone.
expressions. You can read their moods. You can read all
Yeah.
sorts of things about people. Your tone is frantic. You have a
My,
frantic tone.
do you know why my tone is frantic? Because I unintentionally spread something I think is very dangerous. You have no idea what's going through my mind. What's going through my mind, Ian, is that I'm sitting down with a child who thinks he understands the world so much better than everyone else that he has no idea that he just spread something. And I unfortunately caused it, and I'm mad at myself that you spread something that is very dangerous. And I believe
Do
it's
you want to do
dangerous,
another
and I don't
Crowley
care.
ritual?
And I don't care that you don't believe
Let's
it.
do
But the
let's do
point is
another Crowley
that
ritual.
that is unfortunately the reason why
Fuck,
my heart
Grok
is.
wants me to sign in. Grok is such bullshit. I guess we'll have to use ChatGPT.
Yeah. So anyway, just
Give
my
me
point is that these
the
things
easiest
are unfortunately
Aleister
real,
Crowley
and we
ritual
have to take it seriously. And
at
that is why
home.
I'm explaining
Taking it deadly
in the
seriously,
historical
bud.
context. Okay. The historical context is that these practices go back to the Egyptians. They go back to the Mayans. I mean, ancient practices. Okay. These aren't just something that these guys just developed. They based it on very, very old religions. Okay. So for example, a very common atheistic argument I would use when I was an atheist was, oh, well, you're an atheist for every other God except one. And I
I would
realized that
never
was a
make an
lie.
argument that's stupid.
I know it's so stupid, but a lot of atheists make that argument, and it's not true. It's absolutely not true. What it is I actually believe in many of these demonic religions. I just believe
I
that one
don't.
of them is not demonic. And so if you don't, that's fine. But I'm saying there's clear evidence that there's something to the claims that these people are making that are much smarter than you and me. That is why I'm explaining this, is that we don't know what we don't know. And
Wait,
so if I
okay.
show
We
you
got
something
this.
that
Say
shows
out
you that
loud. Okay. Hail unto thee who art raw in thy rising, even unto thee who art raw in thy strength, who travellest over the heavens in thy spark at the uprising of the sun.
dude, you have no idea how happy this makes me that you guys don't believe this. You have no idea how
Wow,
happy
another
this
one that did nothing. Tragic. Let's get another one.
is. I'm so glad that you guys don't believe this. This is
Yeah.
so amazing.
I'm glad
It's
that you
helped me,
believe
honestly,
things,
'cause
even though the evidence
my
that's right
heart
there in
was
front of you
really
tells you otherwise.
scared about this, but
We
like, I'm
literally just did the
realizing that,
ritual and then nothing happened.
yeah, you don't understand how how these work.
Well,
Do
we
you
just did
understand
it.
what the
It
Babylon?
says all you got to do is say it.
Yeah, you don't understand
So we
what
said
the
it.
timelines are. You don't understand the measurements. You don't understand. You've no understanding of that. When I say it's scientific, what do you mean? What do you think I mean when I say it's a scientific practice?
That it's like empirical and repeatable.
Exactly, and that it's not done by just stating words, dude. You have to have, for example, when you research the Babylon working ritual, they knew that it was going to happen within a specific time frame. In their mind, it happened 3 days after they completed it. You just don't have any understanding of how it works, so you're treating it like a child, and that's unfortunate because you're playing with fire, right? What I see when I'm talking to you right now is literally a child laughing while they're touching a stove.
Okay,
And
wait. So here's
it's
the
really,
next
really
one. The next
interesting.
one is that we say, you know, I will do X, and then you do it, and apparently that's supposed to invoke something. I
Yeah,
will
you can
hold
play with
my
that
breath
fire.
for 30 seconds.
Yeah, you can play with that fire if you want and treat it naively. But the reality is that you're messing with fire, dude. That's what I'm telling you. These people are demonic that created these things, okay? The guy that you're messing around with literally said he wanted to destroy the weak, right? They are people that are demented and also highly, highly intelligent. So my point is that if you're not going to have respect for people that have decided to be evil, I don't care if you don't believe that there's an objective evil. But if there's somebody that has set themselves against God and they believe in evil, and you don't believe that they can do what they're doing, that works in their favor. That's fine. That's fine for you, dude.
Yeah, why is
But
it the
that
case
problem
that
isn't
when
your
we
own.
did all of these, literally nothing happened?
Because you don't understand the ritual. You don't
Sure.
understand that
What part of the
Babylon working
ritual am I missing?
That's for you to research. I'm not going to explain anymore because it's too dangerous, in
Because
my
I
opinion.
actually did the ritual fully well, fully
No, you
fine.
didn't. You know you didn't. No, you don't understand it. And I
Clearly I
explained
did. I
already an
followed the
example.
steps.
I explained to you a sex magic ritual, okay, that's called a Babylon working ritual that took 3 days for the effect to happen. You think you understand that it's going to happen right over stream because you're a child. You don't
When will it
understand how these
happen?
things work. There's timelines to them. You have to do more research. I'm not going to explain anymore, dude, because I
Sure,
don't
yeah.
want people doing this.
It's because
I
you have no
don't want
fucking
people
idea what
doing
you're
this.
talking about.
You no, I don't. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
you have no
You
clue what
don't
you're
even
talking
know what I'm
about.
talking.
That's
You
why
don't
you won't
even
talk
know.
anymore. You won't say more because you have nothing to say. Face
Oh,
it. You're coping.
sure, bro. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you know my intention. Yeah,
Well,
you
yeah,
can
you're
read minds, right,
coping.
Ian?
You're
You can
coping
read minds,
bigly.
right, Ian? Yeah.
Well,
What's the method you're
in this
using to know I'm
instance, I know
coping?
why people make specific moves that they make in debates. You're
Yeah.
cowering away because you have nothing to say. Typically, when people come up with some excuse to not proceed with the argument, it's because it wasn't going well for them.
Yeah, you can believe whatever you want,
I
dude.
will
But
believe
this is my
that,
point.
yeah.
You get this is my point though, that most people will believe whatever pops in their mind that makes them feel better. If that makes you feel better,
I just
dude,
have evidence
go
for
for it.
that. It
Yeah,
doesn't
you
make me
got
feel
evidence.
better. It's
Yeah,
true.
what? Yeah, dude, you have evidence. Yeah. Okay, so
I do.
Ian, yeah, I know you do. So when you guys actually take this serious and you go research this stuff, okay, you can start with Enochian magic, and then what it traces back to are going to be Egyptian rituals, okay, also used by Aleister Crowley, and that traces back even further to the Babylonians, the Canaanites, okay. We get the Star of David from that. Okay, that's one of the things that when
Wait,
in
I got a
scripture
quick
it's just
question about all of this. Do you think
sure.
do you think God has the power to win the game?
God is already won. God
Oh,
is already
then God doesn't know
in
about the
control and
game?
already won. God has already won the game.
So, in order to
And
win the game, that means that he would not know something, so then God's not all knowing.
no, God already won. He already everything's done.
But in
Everything is
order to
won.
win the game, you would need to not know about the game.
No, that's just a fallacy. So it's more like if you have, for example, two teams on a football team, right? And one is losing. Okay, that person doesn't need to know the outcome, but you can make a pretty clear, evidenced description of like, hey, that team's going to lose. All they can do is maybe hurt the other side. But if it's 40-3, you don't need to know the outcome, but you can have enough information to know the outcome. So my point is that you believe fallacies because, like I said, you think like a child and you don't understand how the world actually works. You
Yeah.
think that you do because you read a lot.
Yeah.
Good for you, bro. That's not enough. You got to be able to. You have to actually have the ability to not take things that you believe to be false not seriously. You have to understand how to not be biased. You
Yeah.
can just discredit it in your mind and
You're
say, "Hey, this isn't real."
an excellent example of that, right? Like you showed a lot of intellectual
I
integrity
was an
when
atheist.
clearly you didn't know what the game
I
was,
was.
but you still felt the need to comment on the game and God's relation to it. You're an excellent example of intellectual hubris. You just talked at length about a thing that you couldn't tell me what it is. Can you tell me what the game is?
God, dude.
Yeah,
What
this is the
game
guy.
are
I'm not
you
going to take
playing?
intellectual
Why do you
advice from
play
you. You
games?
just talked
Why do
at
you play
length about a
games with
thing that you
people?
didn't know anything about.
Why are you playing games with people like you're so much smarter than them?
Yeah,
Why do you act like
sorry.
that?
That's
Why do
I'd
you
be
act
pretty
like
upset
that?
after that one too.
No, you
I'm
don't
not going to
understand
take
what
intellectual
you're saying.
advice from you. You're
Yeah, you don't take intellectual
epistemically
advice from anyone.
vicious.
You don't take intellectual
I
advice from
take lots of
anyone.
advice from lots of people. Like I read all the
Oh,
time
sure you
about
do.
philosophy and I take
Oh, great.
advice on
Yeah.
these people's positions. I take their thoughts. I think about
Yeah.
what these
Do you
people
know how
think.
much John Dee wrote on philosophy? Would you go read him?
Sure, I'd read him. What did he write
Okay.
about?
Okay. First, go read about
John D.
him.
Philosophy. Neoplatonism. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. But yeah, there's another one that is partially written by
Oh
John. Dee
wait,
that
we just I'm sorry. This is my bad. I allowed you to pivot. No, we're going back. So the goal of the game is to not think about the game. If you think about the game, you lose the game. You're trying to forget about the game. Does God have the power to win the game?
Okay, do you think contradictions, do you think paradoxes somehow prove that God isn't real?
I do think contradictions prove that God isn't real, yeah.
Okay, so that's the fallacy. So
No, it isn't. It's
what you
the,
don't understand is
it's the
that
law of
paradoxes,
non-contradiction.
all a paradox is the reality that we can't acknowledge the other dimensions. So we are second dimensional beings in a third dimensional world is the way to think about it. Just because you can experience a paradox has nothing to do with representing how reality actually operates. We are a fish in a fishbowl. So just because you think that the paradox somehow shows something exists or something doesn't exist, that's just your belief, bro. I'm sorry. That's an unbelievably naive perspective of the world. To only trust your own eyes and your own logic. If you only trust your own brain in this world, bro, you are your own God. That's all you are. Mm-hmm. Ian has made himself, his own brain, God.
Whoa.
That's all that's happened here.
So are you familiar with truth tables?
You repeat that? I'm sorry?
Are you familiar with truth tables?
Oh, yeah, in computer science. Yep. Truth tables.
Yeah. So right here, this is called the law of non-contradiction. It just says that like P and not P is false. Like a proposition and its negation is false. So when we have P and not P, either we have true and false or false and true. If what we have is true and false, then it's false. If what we have is false and true, then it's false. Which means that in every instance we have P and not P, it's false. So contradictions are always false.
Yeah, in this world. Do you know what modal logic is?
I do know what modal logic is.
Okay, so in this, can you think of in a universe? Is it possible that there's a universe in a world that is not true?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is like well accepted that impossible worlds are not possible worlds. That worlds that violate laws of logic are not possible worlds.
Yeah, what I'm trying to get at is that if it's impossible, right? In modal logic there is an option for impossibility. We don't know what the possibility of that impossibility. It's just a statement. It's just an idea. Kurt Gödel is a good example of this. So if you want to talk computer science, go run Kurt Gödel's ontological argument for the existence of God through a computer tester, theorem prover, and it will show you it's valid. Okay. What does that prove that God exists according to you?
No, it's a valid argument.
Right?
It's not a sound argument. The premises are false.
So interesting, right? So it doesn't prove that God exists, right?
Yeah, because the premises are false. Like it follows a valid structure, but one of the premises is false, so it's not sound.
Yeah, you're just going to reject one of the premises, right? So
yeah, I reject one of the. I think the premise specifically about what's the criteria that he invents for the argument. It's like the consistency criteria. I have no reason to think that existence or necessity would be a thing that falls under this.
Those criteria he uses are positive attributes.
Yeah, I have no reason to think that. Well, first of all, I have no reason to think that necessity or existence is an attribute.
That requires you to believe that God is real. Yeah, you just
wait. Why would I believe that necessity? Well, if you think necessity is an attribute, then you could just have like the possible necessary squared circle that would exist.
Yeah, the problem is
so at that point you'd be affirming the existence of the squared circle.
You can agree that a contradiction, right? You can just say, hey, this shows that somehow God isn't real. But for some reason, you have to reject the premises that shows a valid argument that God must be real, that if it's possible, the argument basically breaks down one thing. It's one statement. I'll break it down for you. If it's possible that God exists, God must exist.
Yeah, I agree.
Showed that exactly, that is what is necessity. He necessitated that argument, actually the valid argument.
Well, he's not. You're confused. He's not the originator of that argument.
Who? Gödel? Yes, he was.
No, you think that Gödel was the first person to say that if God possibly exists, then he actually exists?
No, he was the first to prove in a mathematical format. He proved it mathematically that was a sound, valid argument that necessitated that basically this statement: if it's possible that God exists, God must exist. This was a foundation for me coming to the realization that there must be something outside, and it actually started with his incompleteness theorems that showed me that he must have had an understanding that there was something outside the natural observable world, because there was a subset that was always contained of absolute truth that could not be proved. That's what the incompleteness theorems come down to, one of them at least. So the point is that I had to come to the realization, starting off, that there must be something. It doesn't mean that's the Christian God. It doesn't mean that there's any God. It doesn't mean anything. It means that there's something that there is outside the natural observable world that he could prove mathematically. That's just being honest with the argument.
And
So
do you think if it's
reject
possible
premises,
for him to not exist, that would necessitate that he doesn't exist?
you don't understand the argument, because that's
I
impossible to start off
understand the
with that
argument
premise.
way better than you do.
No,
Would you
no, you
agree
don't.
that the reverse is also true, that if it's possible that he doesn't exist, then he must not exist?
No, because you have to logically
Then you're
prove that.
super confused. Yeah,
No, you don't know. Many
Gladly.
people make this argument.
I'd
and
be
they
glad
they
to.
fallaciously,
Not a problem.
No. Many people make this fallacious argument, thinking that you're going to come to the same conclusion. This is why it's such an interesting computational proof. It is not the truth on the opposite end. It doesn't lead you to the same conclusion. You have to follow the argument completely and do it line by
All right,
line.
here's the
And you will
argument.
see that it
Premise
breaks
1,
down.
necessary existence is an absolute perfection. Premise 2, to be perfect, a thing must possess all perfections. Premise 3, to be perfect, a being must exist necessarily. Premise 4, to be perfect, a being must be essentially perfect. The statement, it follows from 3 and 4. 5, the statement that a perfect being exists is a necessary proposition. That is, it is either necessarily true or necessarily false. So if I were to say, possibly God doesn't exist, I would be saying it's not necessarily true that God exists, which would necessitate his non-existence. So it actually does
but you
work that
can't.
way.
No,
You have
you're
no
just
idea what you're
making an
talking
assertion.
about.
You're making an assertion that it's not
What's the
necessary.
thing that
I'm
I
saying-
just asserted without
You're saying
justification?
that you asserted that if God is not perfect, it's not necessary. But that's not the conclusion. You can't just
You're
insert that.
turbo confused.
Okay, repeat yourself. Maybe I
Yeah,
am. Go
the
ahead.
argument is that the proposition God exists or God doesn't exist, those are necessary propositions. If those propositions are true, they're necessarily true. So if we can establish that it's possible that God doesn't exist, well, at that point, we would have established that it's not necessarily the case that God exists.
No, that doesn't follow.
It does
Unfortunately.
follow. I'll write it out for you.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It does.
If it's not,
I'll write it out
because
for
what
you.
because what you are forced to do is why is this not, bro? I can't believe you think
Okay.
this is. So what you're telling me then is
If God
it's not possible that God
exists,
exists.
then he
No.
exists
Listen.
necessarily.
Listen to yourself. Listen to what you're saying. You're saying that it's not possible that God
God
exists.
does
Do you
not
believe that?
necessarily exist.
Ian, answer the question.
It is
Are you
possible.
agreeing with the premise that it's not
God-
possible that God exists? Are you going to be agreeing with that absurdity?
So therefore, God does not.
That's what it's forcing you to
exist.
state.
No. Just that it's possible for God to not exist.
No, it's impossible. The only
So
way
that's
it works
that's
is
the
if
that's
it's
the premise. That's the
impossible.
whoa. Let's just calm. You're freaking out again. It's because you got trapped again. You know, it's exactly what I said earlier, that you freak out every time you get trapped. You got trapped again, which is why you're freaking out.
Yeah, go ahead. Show me how
So
I'm trapped.
yeah, it's quite literally right there in front of you.
Yeah. So if God exists, then he exists necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
This is, you think, equal to the first and second premise of Gödel's ontological proof.
Well,
You
this is like
truly
the
believe
standard
if
modal
God exists, then
ontological
he exi-
argument.
No, this is not what I'm
This
arguing.
is the
You're
standard
not-
modal. Whoa, then
not
you're
understanding
just
that
confused
you-
then.
This is
Because
not a
what
if you put this through a
Gödel's
theorem,
ontological argument
this
is
would not
attempting to
show you anything.
establish, this is what the first part of it is trying to establish, and then premise 2 after that is it's possible for God to exist. And then, of course, via the S5 axiom of modal logic, a possible necessity is an actual necessity, so then God exists.
Yep. And so what you're doing is you are changing that into it's not possible.
No, it's
Yep,
not
premise
that it's not
2.
possible, just that it's possible
Yeah,
for him to
that's
not
what that-
exist.
No, that's no. Your God does not necessarily exist is equal to it's not possible.
No.
Premise two,
No,
God
wait.
does not
Sorry, you're
necessarily exist.
extraordinarily
is the
confused about modal
equivalent-
logic.
No, you are
So,
inserting
the claim-
a false premise. You're inserting a false premise. You're saying
Your
that
claim
it's
is
not
that-
necessarily true, which is it's not possible. You have to literally end with that. You can't
It's
just insert
not
an
possible
assertion.
that God exists is identical logically to it is possible that God does not exist.
No, what did you write? God does not necessarily exist.
Yeah.
That is equal to God does not necessarily. So you're not
It
understanding.
is possible for
You're
God
not
to not
understanding.
exist.
No, listen for 2
God
seconds.
does not
You
necessarily exist
hubristic moron.
is the
Listen to me.
same thing as
is
it is
po-
possible. You're freaking out again because you got trapped again.
No, you're writing
You
something
are,
wrong.
and
You're saying
when
it
you
is
look at what I wrote
possible.
down here, it literally doesn't match. You know, it doesn't say. I didn't say that it's not possible for God to exist. I said
Yes, you wrote it
God
right
does not
there. It says it on number
necessarily
2.
exist. That it's possible for him to not exist. That's not the same thing as it's not possible for him to exist. For example, you know, it's not necessarily the case that I streamed today, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible that I streamed today.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that
don't.
you're inserting when you're saying God does not necessarily exist here. It's what it's saying is equivalent to it is not possible because of where you're at in your argument. You have to end there. You have to end with it's not necessary that God does not necessarily exist.
Well, just that it's
Because-
possible God doesn't exist.
Yeah, you have to end there. You can't just insert it, brother. Is my point. You can't just insert that. You can't. You have to end in the conclusion that is the truth.
That God
It's
does not that it's possible for God to not exist?
Yes.
Oh.
No, that it's necessary. That it's necessary that God does not exist.
That's not the premise though.
No, C, I'm sorry. C, God does not exist is equivalent to God does not necessarily exist. I'm sorry, it's not necessary. It's I'm sorry, it's necessary that God does not exist.
Whoa, wait, that's not true. That's a classic blunder. Wait, you think that P implies necessarily P?
No, I'm sorry, not necessary. It's impossible. Sorry, I used the wrong word. Impossible. So God does not exist, meaning it's impossible for God to exist. So you have to come to that conclusion, right? When you say God does not necessarily exist, you can't just insert
Wait,
that.
do you think that not P implies necessarily not P?
No. But where you are in your argument is that when you say if God exists, right, then he exists necessarily, then you say God does not necessarily exist, that you can't simply just insert that.
Does not necessarily exist is not the same thing as necessarily does not exist. These things are not the same.
No, I know that, but you have to show.
You don't know
why it
that,
is
which is
God-
why you keep
that-
making the same mistake.
No, you have to show why God does not necessarily exist. It's not.
That's logically equivalent to it's possible for God to not exist.
You're not understanding Gödel's argument. What he proved. You're making a different argument.
You're literally extremely confused.
You're making a completely different argument. You're not ending with he's necessitating saying that it's not possible for God to exist. That's what you would do to make it equivalent. You have to end with, because what he's saying is that if it's possible that God exists, God must exist, meaning it's not possible that it must be that way. So what I'm saying is that you have to end with the conclusion that it's not possible for God to exist. And are you willing to accept that premise? I'm sorry, that conclusion.
Yeah, if it's possible for God to not exist, then he doesn't exist, yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying it's impossible for God to exist. You believe that.
That would indeed follow from the fact that it's possible for him to not exist.
That's my point. So it forces you
So,
to believe.
and the point of bringing this up was to demonstrate that the reverse premise also leads to the conclusion that the premise that it's possible for God to not exist, in the same way that the premise it's possible for God to exist leads to the conclusion that God exists. The premise it's possible for God to not exist likewise leads to the conclusion that God does not exist.
Then you believe that it's not possible, but yet you're saying in your
Do you
same
think
argument,
it's possible for God to not exist?
That's the only conclusion you can
Do
come to.
you think that it's possible
But
for
I
God
don't
to not
believe-
exist?
But your argument forces you to believe that it's
Do you
impossible.
think that it's possible for God to not exist?
Yes, but it's not impossible. That's the difference. It leads you into a absurdity. Do you not understand? If it's possible, cannot mean that it's now impossible.
Would you, if we asked ChatGPT
Oh my
about
God,
this,
dude,
would
you
you
don't get
accept
this.
like what ChatGPT says?
No,
Because you're just
you don't-
confused about modal logic, unfortunately.
No, I'm not. You're not
So
understanding that.
here's
that
what we
you
can do.
wouldn't
We
be
can
able to- and
we
if you
can
ran that through
steal a
theorem
bit of
prover,
content from like a philosophy PhD
if you
student.
ran that through a theorem prover,
So
it
we
would
got,
not. It would literally tell you that it's forcing you to believe in absurdity
Joe
if you accepted
Schmid,
the premises. So if you are believing the premise that it's possible that God does not exist, and the end conclusion is that it's impossible that God exists, right? Then it literally negates everything before. So you're forced to now say it's not possible that God exists. So if you believe that, that's fine. But now you can't claim if it's
majesty
possible
of
that he
reason,
doesn't exist. You can't claim it's possible.
modal,
It forces you to believe in absurdity.
ontological.
It doesn't work the other way around,
It does work the
right?
other way
Whereas,
around.
no, it doesn't, because you're telling me now that it's
Hey,
not
everyone,
possible.
welcome
Yet you're
back.
trying to have.
What I'm
You're
telling
trying to have both.
that's not what I'm telling. I'm telling you that it's possible that it's not the case. That's the premise.
No,
That it's
but that's not the
possible for God to not
but that's not the
exist.
conclusion. That's not the conclusion.
But that's the
Ian.
premise.
I don't care about the premise. It
The
negates
premise
the premise.
is the thing that leads
conclusion
to the
negates
conclusion.
the present. No, logically, it
Whoa,
negates the premises.
calm down. Do you know what the S5
It-
axiom of modal logic is?
Yeah, and I'm not going to explain it to you. But
I'll
you're not
explain it to
understanding
you.
that
The S5 axiom states that a possible necessity is an actual necessity. Do you agree?
A possible necessity is an actual necessity. Yeah, that's not an impossibility, you moron.
Well, but wait, do you agree that that's
No,
what the
do
S5
you think
axiom
that a
is?
necessity is an
You're
impossibility?
freaking out again because you got trapped
No,
again.
listen to me. Listen to me. That's not an impossibility.
He's trying to establish dominance, and I'm just going to be cool as a
Necessity
cucumber, and
do
it's
you
not going to
think
work.
that necessity
Sorry,
is
I'm
not,
just going to
is the same
redirect you.
as
Do you agree that that
impossibility?
is in fact the S5 axiom?
Yeah. Do you think that that's
Okay,
impossibility?
cool, perfect. What's possible?
Do you think that it's impossible that what you just read is equivalent to it's impossible that God exists?
The
That the
premise?
necessity. No, that necessity, you just claim that is something that is necessitated, right? That if it's not necessity, I'm sorry, that if a necessity, you're claiming that it's the same as impossible. That's and that is the issue with your argument. You're not understanding
Wait,
that it
so
leads you to an absurdity.
Do you agree that this, like, from these two premises? Let's get linear about this. Do you agree that this is a valid argument?
Yes, but the conclusion naturally negates your premises. So your premises become negated
Okay,
by your own conclusion.
it's a valid argument, meaning that if the premises are true, then the conclusion follows.
No,
But
it
you think,
negates them.
what do you
It
think
negates
valid
them.
argument? What do you think valid argument means?
I don't care if it's valid.
I just
what
asked you. Do
care
you?
about is
Well, I
what-
care if it's valid. Is it
I care
valid?
about. No, I don't care if it's valid. I care if it's true.
Do you ask?
care-
Well, do you think an argument can be true?
Don't you? Is that why we're
No,
talking?
big dog. An argument
You
isn't
don't
a
believe an argument can be
proposition.
true?
An argument is a
interesting.
set of propositions, but it's not a single proposition.
So,
It's not truth
interesting. So when
act.
you ask for an argument for God
guy's-
existence, you're just playing with people. You don't think it actually
Arguments can be
truth?
sound. Arguments can be valid. Arguments
But not
can't be
true.
true. Because
Interesting.
true is
So
a
when
thing
you-
that
why
a
do you-
single
so why do you-
proposition has. Arguments are
so when you
composed
ask
of
somebody for an
multiple
argument for God,
propositions.
when
This
you ask
is
somebody
like
for an argument
literally
for God,
just basic
when
philosophy.
you ask
In
somebody
order
for
for it to
argument
be,
for
it would
God,
need to be a single
you don't
declarative
think it
sentence.
represents truth
Like a
at all?
conclusion could be true. Premises can be true. The set of all three of those things
So-
can't be true.
So how do you?
What's the truth value of
how do you
the real
believe-
numbers? If
how
you
do
think sets
believe
can have
if
truth
moral,
values.
objective truths? how
Wow,
do you
this guy's
believe
gonna
moral
run the
objective
fuck
truths?
away. Getting
No, how do you
confused
believe in
about
moral
basic
objective
philosophy
truths?
terms.
How do you believe in moral objective truths?
Wow,
yet
I'd
you
pivot.
don't
I'd
believe an
pivot away
argument
if I
represents
lost
truth?
that bad on the field topic too.
No,
I would.
answer the question.
What an abysmal.
How are
Whoa,
moral
calm down there.
objective truths-
Calm down
how are
there.
moral objective
Don't pivot.
truths
Is
true
pivoting morally permissible on your view?
you
And if
can't
not,
make an
why do you do it
argument
so
showing
often?
them?
Just get back to
No.
the topic we were already
Ian,
discussing.
you're not
Do
gonna
you
bulldoze
think that
anymore.
this argument is
How?
valid? Is it a
I already
valid
explained to you,
argument?
it's impossible
Is
for
it
it to
a
be true.
valid
It's impossible
argument?
for it to be true.
Is
Okay,
the
so what you're saying
argument
is it's
valid?
impossible. I don't care if it's valid. Is it
I'm
true?
asking you, is it valid?
I already know it's valid. I
Okay,
know
so
it
you
is
agree
valid.
the argument is valid.
Yeah, and so is Kurt Gödel's. Do you care
Is
that it's
valid.
valid?
I
No,
agree
you
his
reject the
argument is valid.
premises.
Yes, correct.
I reject the premises.
Oh,
I'm
which
telling you right
premise do you
now.
reject?
I'm
One
sorry,
or
the
two?
conclusion. I reject the conclusion because the conclusion
Of
negates.
course. I accept both premises. I accept that it's valid, and I reject the conclusion.
Yeah. So when I'm,
You're an
no,
idiot.
you're not understanding
You're
why.
you're an
It's
actual
because it
moron.
forces. No, it makes you
You are
believe.
like a next generation like idiot moron.
Yeah, Ian. So
You're
you're going to tell me
literally
that you
accepting
believe
that if the
that you
premises are
believe.
true, then the conclusion is true. That's what valid means. You're accepting that the premises are true, and you're rejecting the conclusion.
Because it rejects the premises.
So
You
I'm
don't
actually going to type this
understand.
out because this is like so abysmal. So you
Your
accept
conclusion
it's valid,
rejects your premises. You
i.e.,
don't
if the premises are
understand.
true,
Do you not understand, Ian?
then the
Listen,
conclusion is
your
true.
your conclusion forces you to believe that it's not
You accept
possible for God to exist.
that
So you
the
can't
premises
say
are true.
it's possible that God exists. You can't say if it's possible because your conclusion
You
leads you to believe it's
reject the
impossible.
conclusion.
Yeah. Do you not understand? There's many
Do you
arguments you
understand
can
that this
reject
is
the
another
conclusion.
contradiction?
Yeah, this is the best part about this. So do you understand the law of non-contradiction? Do you really understand it?
Yeah, in fact, it's literally typed out down here.
No, it isn't. No, it
Yes,
isn't.
yes,
The
it
law of
is.
non-contradiction also states is that
The law
your
of
conclusion
non-contradiction. So this guy
cannot
just claimed that
negate
P and
your
not P is
premises.
false is not the law of non-contradiction.
Dude, you
Like
are
how many
negating your own
philosophy
premises.
topics do you want to embarrass yourself on? Like this is
You're
actually just
negating your own
abysmal.
premises.
This is like super easy to just demonstrate. Like I don't know why you would make such an easily falsifiable claim. So this guy's claiming P and not P is false is not the law of non-contradiction.
No, what I'm saying is that P,
You just said it.
possibility, and not P, impossibility, is false. Your conclusion is a contradiction. You moron. Why don't you get that? You can't say it's possible and it's also impossible. That is what you're doing.
So
You're
here we have
objectively
it.
concluding.
What this
It can't
says
say it's
is that it's not
possible
the
and-
case that there's any P and not P.
Yeah, possible and not and also impossible. So
The
your
law of
conclusion
non-contradiction is not cast in modal terms.
Oh my God, Ian, you are embarrassing yourself, bro.
What's the modal term? What's the modal operator here? Can you point it
You're
out?
embarrassing yourself. Yeah, it's that T sign right there.
You think the T sign is a modal operator? You think the yields? You think yields is a modal operator? You're
that's the modal operator, bro.
humiliating yourself.
Yeah, bro, that's the modal operator, bro.
You think that
Yeah.
you think that yields is a modal operator?
Yeah, the yield is the modal operator,
Okay.
bro. Yeah,
Let me-
impossibility and impossibility.
Let me
reframe it for you.
Let me try
Is
to
the possibility
explain
and
how fucking
impossibility.
stupid this guy is.
The possibility and impossibility can't be true at the same time. Your conclusion negates your premises.
Okay,
I can't
so-
explain it any other way. You can't
me-
say it's impossible
Let me
for
write this
God
out
to
for you.
exist
So
and believe that that's true. Like you're going to literally tell everybody,
P-
hey, by the
P
way, I
implies
believe it's
Q.
impossible. And then claim in
Therefore-
your same argument, it's possible for God to exist.
Q.
You're negating
So
your
this
own
guy is
premises.
claiming that, just to put this into perspective, this guy is claiming that the therefore symbol is a modal operator,
Yeah, that's a,
like possible or
You don't
necessity.
understand when you're getting trolled,
That's
do you, dude?
that is like that's the level of like idiocy
This
that
is
this guy is
hilarious.
operating at.
So possible and not possible, right, are not able to both equivalently be true. You are trying to claim both in the same argument.
Well, wait,
That is why
you
you're
don't
not
think that
understanding.
something could be possible and not possible?
Impossible.
Okay.
It can't be both.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
are
I agree. Something
concluding-
can't be both possible and impossible. But the
Thank you. So your
reverse modal
conclusion-
ontological argument is literally claiming the one and only claim made by the reverse modal ontological argument is that it's possible God doesn't exist.
No, that's not in your conclusion.
That is
it's
the
impossible.
claim. To
No,
be
that's
clear,
what I'm trying to say is that
that's
you have
let
to
me
make the-
highlight it for you. It's possible for God to not
so Your
exist.
conclusion is God does not. That which means it's impossible.
We're talking
for
about the
God to exist.
premise. If
No,
you
no,
agree
no,
that it's
I'm talking about
valid,
the
you agree that
conclusion.
the
I
premises are
don't pivot.
true.
No. Don't backtrack on me.
There's no
I'm talking about the
backtracking. I'm trying to
conclusion.
explain to you how deeply confused you are. I'm literally
you
trying to
can't
like
claim-
untangle the knots that are present in your brain.
You can't claim that it's
abysmal.
not. You can't claim that it's possible for God to not exist and then conclude that it's not possible without following some form of modal logic math that actually shows that.
Yeah, it's the
Because
S5
you're claiming
axiom,
right
big
now,
dog.
what you're doing right now is you're actually believing a contradiction.
What's the
There's no way
contradiction?
that you're claiming that it's possible and not possible at the same time, or
For
impossible.
for what?
So, for God to exist. So you're claiming in the
Where
same
am I
argument,
claiming that it's possible for God to exist?
if God exists, then he exists necessarily. It's possible.
You
God, bro,
are.
you
You're probably
gotta
like
be
sub
kidding me.
30 IQ. If you think that if God exists, then he exists necessarily is saying that it's possible for him to exist. Like, I think I think that everybody in chat that understands what's going on here should
So what's
probably
premise
just be
two?
allowed to like hunt you for sport. Like,
So
this
what's
is
premise
like,
two? What does it lead to in premise
this
two?
is
What's
like
premise two?
a humiliating
It's
showing.
possible for what to exist? It's what?
It's
Number
possible
two.
for God to not exist is the claim.
Yeah. So if God exists and it's not possible, it's possible for God to not exist. How is it now impossible?
If God
can't claim
exists,
it's
then he exists
possible.
necessarily. And
Yep. So you're
it's not
leading with the
necessarily true
conclusion.
that he exists.
Dude, that's
Then he
why
doesn't exist.
I'm
That's the
explaining to you, dude. When
argument.
I'm rejecting conclusion one, this is how stupid.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. Again,
rejecting the
you know,
first- I'm
we're back to
rejecting
this guy's
premise
signature
one.
maneuver, accepting that it's valid, accepting all the premises, and rejecting the conclusion.
No. I'm not expecting. I'm helping you understand that you can claim that this is valid all you want. The first
You
premise
agreed that it's valid.
is no. I don't care if you think I agree.
You did agree to it.
I wanted to show you something that you will only agree if I agree with you. When you don't even understand that your argument's not valid. So I'm.
You said
embarrassing you
earlier
right now.
that it is
So,
valid.
I know for a point that you don't understand.
Okay,
I did it for
sure.
a point to
Of
show you
course.
that you only will agree with me when I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
valid.
The point that
Your
you're literally the
argument
most
isn't
embarrassing
valid, Ian.
theist.
Your argument isn't valid. If God exists, then he exists necessarily. You have to
I
reject
think
that
Joe
premise.
Schmidt from Majesty of Reason should be allowed to hunt you
So the
for
reason
sport.
why I'm rejecting that in your conclusion, because your premise one and your conclusion are contradictions.
You think? Oh my god. You think premise one, if God exists, then he exists necessarily, contradicts God does not exist?
Your whole argument. Premise two. No. I'm rejecting premise one.
Oh no.
Follow the argument. Follow the argument. If God
I'm gonna
exists, then he exists
cry.
necessarily. I'm rejecting that,
Oh,
which means premise two and premise and your conclusion. I'm sorry, those two are the ones that contradict.
Okay.
Premise one, I'm rejecting.
I think that's enough lost brain cells for one conversation. Oh no. My conditional contradicts the conclusion. Oh gosh. That person, I've spoken to a lot of like very confident, confused people. I actually think he might be like the pinnacle. Holy shit. Oh gosh. That was a time.